All
Merry
right, hello, folks.
Christmas!
That's right, that's right. I left it on for a couple of seconds because I know we got a little bit of a time delay for the folks that are checking it out. So on their side, it's a little bit of time delay, and I can actually see it like looking at it on the side screen. The setup is a little weird. I ended up having to compromise. My
Mhm.
original idea was to steal my old room back, but my younger brother, protested and protested. No one really
No.
cared about his protest, but I think there's some sabotage because I walked through and I saw booby traps and thing. I'm like, I think you what you did is you did countermeasures to the fact that we were all ignoring your protests. Which
You
so
have all those gunman Z kind of
no, like
hanging down on
listen,
you.
listen. There's a very real likelihood it would have resulted in death, and
Oh,
that's all fine and dandy. If I'm setting the booby traps, I'm not into going into the trap. But it is what it is. What are you gonna do? So
true.
how'd the week treat you, Bobby?
It was good. It was a fast week,
It
that's for
was, yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just whipped right by. Everything was good.
Well,
Nice. We
that's good.
just got back from our son's. We were over there for a few hours.
Good stuff.
Now we're just wake up and go to my sister's tomorrow afternoon for dinner, and we all meet there and have fun.
That's right. That's right.
We did a test beforehand. We actually went over to my son and daughter-in-law's. We all took tests over, so we took our tests. We're all fine, and they're going to test there, so we can all wear no masks, and no
Okay.
masks,
No masks. No masks.
no
Very nice.
masks, no masks. Yeah,
That's right. That's right. Good evening, Josh. Absolutely. Merry Christmas, everyone. No doubt. No doubt. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm not a real big Christmas guy. I was quickly chatting with Bobby just before I hit the button. At this stage in the game, like almost everything we want, like it's all adults in the house, so almost anything we want, like we already bought for ourselves.
pretty
Uh,
much.
you know, gift cards are kind of the gift du jour. It's kind of the best bet for everybody. However, I did want to include a little bit of festiveness. I put a little thing in the thumbnail. I put the little Santa hat on the regular picture. Threw in. Hopefully, people got the reference on the other side of the screen. I'm not going to say who it is. You should know. It's a bit of a classic Christmas movie if you've seen it. But I thought very appropriate, pretty good, pretty solid one. And then a little background today. So hopefully you guys at the beginning of the stream, for those of you who didn't, I'm going to take us off for half a second and I'll put it back on. But hopefully you can see the little background on it. So there you go. Turns out that with StreamYard you can use animated GIFs. So you can use
Oh,
an animated. So you can actually have. It's a very short animation. It just loops. But what
yeah.
happens is since it's within the constraints of it, it allows you to have it on the background, so it's going the whole time that we're hanging out.
It's a 1 second loop. I'm looking at a certain particular piece. Bang,
Yeah,
bang,
like it's.
bang,
But you know what?
bang.
Here's the thing. It works.
It
In
worked
all
great
honesty,
for
for
snow.
the
It works
purpose of it
perfect.
just running in the background, if nobody's really paying close attention to it, it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
All right. So let me go here.
I
So I'm
got
not sure.
my light is out. I got to replace it. I usually have one over there and the
Mhm.
main one on, but it's just not because the light's kind of down in the, so it's giving me shadow.
I got you.
It happens.
Yep. I was messing around with the little space here a little bit. It was kind of a little bit of a unique setup. I'm using kind of the side table in the living room, and then we got the stairs here, all the area back here. It's well lit and all that, but it's a little awkward since nothing is where I normally expect it to be. It's like, what do I do with my hands? Where am I supposed to put? Where am I supposed to put everything? Yeah, I do have a second screen though, so that's good. So that's that part of it is working pretty well. So let me do the following. What I'm going to do is it is going to be a shorter live stream than normal. So
Yeah.
thanks to those of you who are hanging out. So Andy, good evening. Absolutely. I did check out Andy's Christmas special. So if any of you didn't
Hmm.
check it out, Sports Card Investigator, he had a Christmas special going on. It was very well done.
Yeah.
Very well done.
I thought so.
So what I'm going to do right now is if any of you who are hanging out do want to join us, I'm pinning the link to the StreamYard. Don't hesitate and don't hesitate too long. Because the plan is to, even though we're not super Christmassy people, there are a couple of presents over the little area here. So there is going to be some stuff. I did gift. I already gave my dad a gift from me. I gave him his own edition of the Because I'm Carlos mug. So now he has proper
Oh,
drinkware, proper drinkware. So that is the second of three. There is one more in circulation, and I think I know where I'm going to
mm.
send that, but we'll figure that out. So Josh here says, in regards to gift, I got lucky. My kids wanted an Xbox, and Santa's bringing it tomorrow. Very nice. Xbox X. There you go. Solid. It's also a Blu-ray player, which is what I use in the living room. So it works both purposes. So you're
two
covered both ways.
2 for 1. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, you get the little remote and you're pretty much good to go. It's actually a very good player. For all things considered, it's actually a good player. And I do play some games on it from time to time in the system. It's fun.
It's pricey enough, so it should be right.
Mhm. Well, that was how the PlayStation 2 took off in the first place. So back when the PlayStation 2 came out, the reason it became so popular so fast is that it was also a DVD player. And in
Uh,
relative terms to the going rate of the DVD player at that time, it actually wasn't a bad deal. You were getting like, actually, it would cost me almost this much for a DVD player, and it can't play games. This one can play games, and I get a DVD player.
Yeah.
So at that point, it made a lot more sense. Good evening, Yannick. Absolutely. So what I'll say, so Yannick and other folks that may be interested, I did put the link and I pinned it on there if you do want to hang out. So Yannick reached out to me a little bit earlier and we did a little experiment. We may have figured out the feedback issue. We may have gotten it resolved for him. So we'll see. So if he does want to pop in, hopefully, then he should sound a little bit better. We should be in better shape. It was just one of the settings. He had a few too many. So we did a little technical troubleshooting and narrowed it down a little bit. So I think we're in a good spot.
Good.
So outside of that, what I'll do is I'll start off with a couple of real simple, basic stories, and then we'll kind of talk about anything any of you guys want to talk about, and we'll hang out for a little bit, and then New Year's Eve will be the more fun one where I think we'll have a little bit. I decided to kind of go in the middle. I won't use the normal start time. I decided to go 9:30, so 2.5 hours before the crossover, and then we'll go into the new year, whatever happens. Okay, so Dave here says too many settings. Never, absolutely. So name here, happy holidays name. My in-laws having apples. There's always something with your name. It's the in-laws, or it's the kids, or it's the in-laws' kids. Like, there's always something over there.
And apples.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So let's see here. Merry Christmas. Absolutely. Business 124. Merry Christmas to you as well. Sounds good. So there were two things in particular that I thought were interesting. And pretty light, easy stuff. I did a video on the one, which was the PWCC marketplace is switching to the weekly, which is fine. You know, that's perfectly okay. We got some inklings that was going to be the case, which is okay. But what I thought was interesting. Yeah, I knew what you meant, name, but apples was more fun. I've decided it's apples.
Yeah, it's apples.
Apples could be appetizers. Don't discount that.
True.
Absolutely.
Apple pie, apple.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, we had so for like Christmas dinner here, we had turkey, we had some rice and some turkey and some stuff, and then we had and then for dessert, my mom had a couple different things, and I was like, I'll take a tiramisu. Why not? Let's go with that. Yeah, it was all right. It was all right. I saved the beer for now because now it's a little more appropriate to have my beer at this time.
That's dessert, yeah. True
Absolutely,
dessert.
absolutely.
So you have your dinner now?
Oh, we are. I already had it like 2 hours ago.
No, I meant like the day before Christmas.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
We used to have our Christmas Day, but okay.
Yeah, Christmas Day, because we're going to open the presents around midnight, and then we'll hang out for a bit, have a drink, and call it an evening. And then, honestly, I'm going to be back in my house by the afternoon, because I got the Packer game on in the afternoon. They have a Christmas Day game for me.
Perfect.
Nice. Andy, good evening. Merry Christmas. How are you doing?
Wow, that was fast. See, I had to come on and talk to you guys because I'm at my in-laws in beautiful Hershey, Pennsylvania, and they're having game night. So I had to say, look, I have something I got to do. So you'll have
Andy, my thought process is the following. I can't be the only one who just needs an excuse to get away from these people. Like it can't be. It's like I'm giving y'all an out. Just say, look, gotta have a conversation. I need to talk to some people. I'm busy. Totally understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good job on the Christmas special. I did enjoy it. I got
Holiday Spectacular. Yeah.
The Holiday Spectacular. He had the jacket and a little singing thrown in there for you. And I heard the base cards are back. That's what I heard.
Base cards are back, baby. As soon as I did that video, I get an alert from PSA to go sub my 5 cards for $50. So I was scrambling to see what cards I could possibly submit.
Yep.
Did you find any?
I did. In fact, my good friend Carlos. Oh no, should we break it to Bobby? How I labeled Bobby on the video.
So I did a recording. So I did a recording with Andy where we chatted for about an hour, a couple of different things. So it'll be coming up on his channel coming up forward. Okay. And then the label that I always give is that you're the unofficial co-host. But it's like that isn't what Andy said. Andy said something else.
No, it was totally off the cuff, and you could whatever when it comes out, feel free to let
delete it.
Yeah. I'll tell Tyler. Well, actually, he told Tyler to leave it in.
No, I said, look, you said it. The record. Bobby is a historian. He would be deeply disturbed if you were to erase history.
That's
it was in fact what was said.
But to answer your
Dustin
question,
said the same thing anyway, so and it was good. It was all good stuff. So,
but to answer your question, I did. It was a whole story that goes into it. But when I was at my mom's house, I went up to the attic because she goes, "Hey, there's a baseball cards in the attic if you want to look at them." So I went through them. So I am going to send in an Ozzie Smith rookie card that was there.
Yep.
And there is a Zach Levine gold that I sent in. A Jalen Hurts Spectra.
Okay.
But I mean, just stuff that I wouldn't send on that 100, and
Yeah.
they're kind of on that cusp where it's like, okay, for $50, I'll take a flyer on them, you know?
Yeah, and that was kind of my point with a lot of these price levels, is that you've got these different tiers. If you really think about it, is that not worth it at this level? Maybe when you get to about $50, there's certain things that almost
Right.
come into play. Even some PC stuff where you're like, maybe. But if it's PC and I just want it back, because right now you're probably going to get a reasonable turnaround time on that.
Yeah,
because
right.
a lot of folks won't bother with it because you also got a queue, so it is controlled amount. So you have a better chance of getting your stuff back if you're a little bit patient. So you can kind of hedge your bets a little bit. So that's not necessarily the worst.
No. And I think, though, what we can gather from the information given, that when and if they come back for value, it's probably going to be that $25 rate, I
Yeah.
would assume. I know it's dangerous
Yeah.
to assume, but they go 150. Would they drop below 25? If they do, then you know what?
It would be tricky. It would be. I think the only reason you would go below that is very restricted. Something like a set registry thing. Like if it was tied specifically to set registry, I could see that being, because that makes it more viable for them. You're like, hey guys, look, if it's for your set registry set and it's in your registry and we can see it, yeah, here's your $15, submissions. Go for it. Have fun.
Exactly.
And I think that's a good, fair way of rewarding the loyal who have been working on that for you, but at the same time, not incurring the wrath of people who suddenly decide to send $5 cards to give it a flyer. It's like, no. Who want to throw it up on eBay? No, that's not what we want. I
Yep,
don't think anybody
agreed.
wants that because it wrecks the whole thing for everybody. It ruins the ecosystem. Good evening, other Andy. Absolutely. She blinded with your factors. But yeah, the big thing, and I was talking with Yannick a little bit earlier today, and when I was having a chat with him, I showed him the Wayback Machine. And the thing is, I went back and I was able to show at beginning of 2020, just the end of 2019. I went and pulled up SGC and I went and pulled up PSA. So PSA still had its $20 service at that time available, advertised on the website, and SGC's service was $15 at that point. So you could have $15 grading at that point. What's going to be interesting is if PSA is able to, they don't need to get below 20. Even 25 would probably be okay. If you could provide $20 or $25 service, what you're doing is you're putting a lot of pressure on SGC, who's at $30 right now.
Yep.
So that would be enough to suddenly apply pressure because we have a lot more capacity than you do. Our resale value is better. If we got anywhere in the same vicinity, your value proposition suddenly drops like a stone. It's not nearly, you're still an alternative, but then what do I need you for? Unless I really like the tux.
Right.
Sure.
100%.
And that's kind of the danger. So good evening, AI Sports. Absolutely. Robert here says, I think there'll be a strict submission level for 50 and under PSA for the foreseeable future. Yeah, could very well be. There's a lot of, having a queue system is a way they can kind of hedge their bets a little bit. It's a way of controlling things and still offering you the option, but saying like, yeah, don't send us 500 of them, but you can still have, $20 submissions or $25 submissions, but keep it to like 10. Be selective. Give us a specific group that you want, not because you want to flip 500 cards on eBay.
Exactly.
Might be a little way of kind of meeting both sides of this equation. So let me throw this one at you guys. This one I did the video on. We'll keep it pretty quick on this one, and then we'll have a little fun with the second one. But both kind of PWCC adjacent. We do love a little PWCC adjacent. So let me do a little share screen. Setup is a little weird for me, but I'll make it work. So the first one is the old weekly auction. And straightforward concept, weekly auction, PWCC, we get that. But what's interesting to me is that they tack on the 20% buyer's premium.
Yep.
So they put the fee on the side of the bidder putting up the fee so that the seller doesn't get a fee. But that means your $100 card just became a $120 card. So any thoughts on kind of where you think that might adjust the bidding patterns of some folks? By the way, I'm hoping the PWCC makes it abundantly clear on the screen when you're bidding what the actual total would be, because otherwise some people are going to be very disturbed when they find out what the truth is.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they went to the $20 mark. I thought they would maybe stay at 10, at least under eBay's fees, but they're going full tilt like they're a regular auction house.
Well, I was going to say, Bobby hit it on the head, like they're a regular auction, so you're going to have to pay that premium fee. And What is PWCC's fee? Was that
So that 20% is built into it. So the idea here would be there's a 20%, basically 20% buyer's premium. The 20% buyer's premium is split between PWCC and the seller. And what they do, and I'll scroll down a little bit so we can look at it. So while I'm doing that here, I'll just bring Yannick up. Yannick, good evening.
Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right, sounds good, Yannick.
See, I think we nailed it down. So I don't know if you guys can see now on my screen. It's even tinier because I only have a 13-inch screen that I'm looking at right now. Can you see the seller's commission little chart though on the side? I can make it bigger.
Yeah.
Can you see it? Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So what happens is whatever the hammer price is going to be the first piece. So the buyer, so the seller is going to get the hammer price amount, whatever that is. Whatever they end up winning it at, that's the price that the seller's going to get. However, if it goes $50 and above, the seller starts getting a percentage based on that buyer's premium. So at first, with under $100, but above 50, they get 2% of that 20%. So they actually get the 2% of that as well. So basically, they're getting 102% of the actual final hammer price, all the way up to $1 million plus, where they're getting 15 of the 20%. So if you're selling a big boy card, you're getting 115% of the hammer price, which as a seller sounds fantastic. Now, does it discourage enough bidders to offset that? Because the savvy, so let's say it's a $100 card, and I'm only interested in paying $100. That means I'm going to pay about $83, $84 if you do the math, so that it works out to $100 for me, because that's what I actually want to pay. So I have to work my way backwards and do some math. So that could have an impact on what people actually bid on.
Well, it does have an impact even in large auctions when you have items not so high priced. There's a certain price for a particular item. Say like it usually goes for $400 or $500. Well, you want to bid less because you got tax, then you have this, then you have that. So you got to take in consideration. So those end up usually going for about 350. They don't go to the 400 to 500 range because people stay underneath because they're adding the additionals on. People aren't stupid. They were earlier on in the early auction phase of the early 2000s, but after that, they all kind of realized that hey, and especially if you're Canadian, and you do that, you go, okay, I got to add the exchange rate. I got to add tax or
everything
whatever.
is 15% plus.
Yeah, Yeah, for us, it's going to be whatever the price is. So think even a low price item.
Well, it won't
You
be
get the
tax.
20%. Yeah, you get the 20% buyer's fee. Then if you ship it directly from them, they're going to use FedEx, which means you're going to get hit with the custom duty at the full, taxable amount. So you get smacked with another fee. FedEx has their fee on top of it. So for anything under a couple of $100, it's actually mathematically not even worth it. At that point,
It's like 40% premium.
Yeah.
The 20% is actually small potatoes compared to the amount of extra fees you
Everything else.
It's the icing on a cake of you're getting destroyed with fees all the way through, and it's like, no man, like I'm sorry, like that's gonna be a tough sell.
Yeah, it's no.
I'm really surprised that they would come into the marketplace like that. I thought they would offer something a little bit better because they're a smaller company. They don't have a lot of people to pay. They're, I know they moved over, but they were prepared for that. I'm surprised they went to that degree.
Yeah, I think they've made some interesting moves. That's why I say I wanted to start with this one because it's straightforward. We get the general idea pretty easily. It's not overly complicated, but it is something to think about. So this is going to start in January, and we're going to get a chance to find out really quick what this is going to do as far as impact on a lot of these sales. So quickly, I'll get caught up on a couple of these. Robert here says, I think there'll be a strict submission limit for 50 and under. I agree with you. Yep. I remember when SGC had $5 a card, you submit at least $100 cards, at least 100 cards number. Yep. So bulk rate. Yep. Absolutely with you. Global Sports Card Investor. Merry Christmas. Absolutely. But I agree with you guys. I think it's going to end up being a thing where folks are going to have to suddenly now you're forcing some folks to do some math because for really low price items, it might completely not be worth it. Or maybe you vault it and then pick up a group lot of stuff and then maybe you think about it. But it's like there's suddenly more logistics where it's like, okay, if it's $100 on PWCC, you calculate the buyer's fee, but it's $115 on eBay shipped. Oh,
yeah.
No brainer.
I'll just buy it on eBay then. Yeah, save myself a lot of the extra aggravation. May as well. It's like, oh, but on eBay it's more expensive. Yeah, but when I add into shipping, when I add in the duty, when I get smacked with all that stuff, actually it works out better for me.
So it worked better for the more rare cards, I would say.
I think the thing I threw out at the video is I think at the high end it's not going to matter as much.
No,
like if you're already buying something rare or something that you would pay good money for anyway, an extra couple of percentage points, one way or the other, isn't going to swing this for you.
No.
If it discourages anybody, if anything, it would help you get it cheaper. So then you'll take your 20% buyer's premium and you really don't care.
Nope.
So I can't blame them. Absolutely. I hope you're all safe and well. You as well, no doubt. I think PWCC should state clearly there's a 20% buyer's premium on every auction card. I would love it to have it on the actual page of the individual card itself. I would like to be
Yes.
able to see the price with the buyer's premium so it's clear in front of your face and you know exactly what you're bidding.
But no other
surprises,
auction,
right.
no other auction company does that though. Has that? They say after the fact with the buyer's premium.
Oh,
but they don't say it
I get it.
during
I'm with
the
you.
road.
I'm 100% with you. Yeah.
Actually, you had to pay attention on finding where the 20% was at the end. Like it was really settled at the last second of the clip, or very at the bottom of the paragraph there.
It was
By the way,
fantastic.
it's 20%.
Yeah. It was
By the
so
way-
good though because they did a promo video. Yeah, but they did a promo video of it. It was 39 seconds. And literally like within like second 37, buyer's premium coming too. Click video off. I'm like, "Wait a minute, what?" As soon as I heard it, I laughed because I think Neo did his video, and in his video he referenced back that he heard it on mine, which is, you know, thank you for the shout out. But it was very funny because originally he didn't catch it either. He heard about the weekly, but like the buyer's premium didn't register. So literally, I put it right on the thumbnail. I put it right on the title. I'm like, no, guys, there's another.
You were Twitter famous today. When I was going through my Twitter feed, I said, "What? You're not on Twitter?" And then somebody shot your thumbnail and put out a tweet saying, "Do you guys know about this?"
But I guess that's the advantage though of being there early. That being Johnny on the spot and being there and being able to post a video relatively early.
Absolutely.
That's advantageous because you get the first word. And a lot of people didn't look below the surface. It wouldn't shock me if a lot of folks like, "Oh, okay, weekly auctions, cool. In January, got it." And then they're like, "There's another thing, guys. There's another thing." You don't miss that part. There's another thing.
70 easy payments of $49.99.
Mm-hmm.
Just pay the
Exactly.
separate shipping. That's all.
Maybe
Well,
they'll
wait.
offer their own credit card.
Yeah.
That's right. Now, so staying in the PWCC vein, my favorite of this week, because it was a quiet week, obviously we're in the holidays, whatever, it's all good. My favorite this past week was our good buddy Card Porn likes to stir the pot. So part and parcel of that is that they did a little video compilation of Eric Myers from PWCC, sticking to PWCC theme, coming on Jeremy's show, and they're doing their promotion, their totally unpaid promotion. I'm not accusing
Yeah.
anybody of anything. Everyone settle down. But the point is, the promotion for the PWCC auction. So Eric Myers is on there as a representative of PWCC talking through some stuff. And he gets asked if you're allowed to bid on PWCC auctions, which in itself seems like a fairly innocuous question if you don't struggle to answer the question a little bit.
Oh,
So what I'm going to do is they compiled a clip. I'm just going to play the first part of the clip for you guys, and then we'll briefly discuss. So let's see if I can do the old share here on this thing. Okay. Let's make sure we get audio on this deal. Yep. Cool. And let me make it a little bigger here, and we'll play back. Let's see. Let me press this.
Employee of PWCC. I'll just put that out there for you, Jordan. Are you allowed to bid on cards on PWCC's auctions?
No, I mean, so no, I can't. I don't even know if I'm not even approved.
No would have sufficed. I'm pausing it for a second because no would have sufficed as an answer. No is good enough. Like, you don't need to go on. So I'm going to keep playing, but I'm saying you don't have to go on beyond no.
To be a bidder on the premiere. Like, I don't even think that they approve employees to bid. I mean, so you have to be approved to bid. So I don't even think that I'm even approved to even place a bid.
So let's say you were approved. I mean, the question is, are you allowed to? It's not, are you approved? Are you allowed to bid on cards?
No, I can't directly. I cannot bid on monthly or premiere. I don't even think I can hit buy it now or best offer. I'm pretty sure that I can't do that either.
In the fixed price listing.
Right, yeah.
Why do we make it that difficult? Why? In what world does that question require that much extra elaboration for a relatively simple question?
it's
See,
just like
the great question would have been have you stopped bidding on your own auctions?
No, Jeremy's not going to pose the question that way. But here's the thing: if you just want to pose it in a simple way, though, the question itself, the first question was fairly innocuous. Can you bid on a PWCC auction? No, I cannot. It is a policy.
yeah, this go.
Because the only reason this even came up to be a thing after is that Eric Myers. So let me lay out a couple of facts, the things that we know for sure. Let me lay that out, and then we'll talk about the conjecture piece. So first the facts, and then we can discuss whatever we think. So in the course of that, it was also a point that he had that he had purchased a Michael Jordan rookie card, a BGS 9.5 Michael Jordan rookie card, which had been in a PWCC auction in November. So then the question is, obviously, how did you end up with that? You're an employee of PWCC. It took us a while, but we eventually established that you're not allowed to bid on a PWCC auction. So why do you have it? So eventually, through some struggles, the statement stated was that the buyer of the actual one from the PWCC reached out and they were able to talk back and forth. They came to a deal they were happy with and a purchase was made, which in and of itself is not a problem. So the facts are the card was in PWCC. Somebody bought it. Eric Myers ended up with it. Presumably, we're not there. We don't have the transaction, but according to them, what happened was they got together, came to a deal, money changed hands. Here you go, take your card. Now, let me say what helps Eric Myers in the story, even though he struggled to explain it. He has made noted to people out loud in the world, in podcasts and things, that he is a buyer of these cards. He has said to people that he is interested in buying them. So it is not a ridiculous notion that somebody would reach out to him knowing that he's a buyer for these, make him, hey, would you like to buy mine? Yeah, sure. What would, make the transaction? You're done. Now, PWCC does not have the benefit of the doubt. They currently have a class action lawsuit in effect as we speak right now. They've had one previously. They've had their little run-ins. eBay threw them off the platform on questionable things, but they alluded to shield bidding and things like that. PWCC does not have a sterling reputation in the hobby. They will never get the benefit of the doubt. As a representative of PWCC, you should probably understand that everything and anything you do will garner more scrutiny than the average person doing a transaction. You are allowed to do a private transaction with someone that happened to have purchased in PWCC. There's nothing wrong with that inherently. But you should know it's a questionable look, and then posting it on social media bragging that you're still stacking probably wasn't wise, because then it leads to more questions. But that's an unforced error. No one forced you to do that. And by the way, graded cards, BGS, the serial numbers on the front, so we know it's the same card from the auction.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting go.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they're allowed to bid on the auctions as long as they disclose that information. Whether they do in the fine print on another page, we don't even know that. Actually,
My understanding is that PWCC, knowing what it does about its reputation, I believe they're not allowed. The employees are not allowed themselves to do it. But in the second half of that video, and I'll include a link to the card porn, posting for folks. I don't want to play the whole thing, but then he goes on Dakota's channel. Jeremy goes on after, and and he continues to get badgered about that clip that was just played there and the rest of it, and in his attempt to defend it, he basically says it's like, well, anybody could circumvent it, and where I sit here and go like, yeah, of course they could, 100%. If I was working at PWCC and I wanted a card, I could be like, hey Bobby, hey Andy, hey Yannick, can you do me a favor and bid $5,000 on this? I'll make you good, and I'll make you good, and I'll send you some beer. We'll make you happy. So, can I do that? Of course I can. Is there a way you can stop me? Technically, no. Unless you have like a paper trail of us documenting our master plan to do this, it's a very difficult thing to prove, because Bobby could have bought that item of his own volition, and then, oh, actually, I don't need this anymore. Hey, Carlos, would you like it? Yeah, absolutely.
This goes on every day, every minute, every
Correct.
second on any platform.
Yes. And it's very difficult. It's borderline. You almost have to go out of your way to be caught doing something like that, because it is so simple to get away with. It's one phone call, no traceability. Like, you're not going to catch anybody doing it. And to be honest, I don't care. I think what I took offense to, and maybe I'm unique in this matter, I took offense to what a poor job he did, like looking as shady as is humanly possible and trying to answer what was a very simple, innocuous question. I don't feel like he wasn't exactly getting badgered on that first clip, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, for sure. You just could have said no and moved on. That was it.
Yes.
And I like Eric. I really like this story, and
He's a smart guy. He's got his moments, but that one was not his finest, because it's like, this was an easy question. This is a layup. You don't need to make a hash of this, and he made a hash of it when he didn't have to.
he tripped over the line.
But yeah, my belief is that probably that transaction did occur more or less as he said it. I think he should figure out what the policy is and be a lot more clear about it, because when somebody asks him, it should be a simple yes or no. This is not a difficult question to answer.
I think he was looking at the official term. I think he knows no, not going in, but then he kind of thought through it a little second there. I think I have to be registered. I'm not registered, so I can't bid. So no.
Well, that's what I mean, because it wasn't like I was joking around. It wasn't a trick question.
No,
it wasn't like, have you stopped beating your wife? It wasn't one of those gotcha questions. It was just, Yes or no?
Are you allowed? Yes or no?
Right.
Yeah. When you leave a yes or no question, you don't leave a lot of room for extra interpretation and extrapolation. It's a binary question. If you say no, and then someone wants to follow it up with, oh, but you got this thing on social media, right there, all you got to do right after this, yep, they reached out to me afterwards. They offered me the card. I've been public about my interest in these cards. That's why I gave that little background. I have been public about my interest in
And
these
that's
cards.
fair.
And
What are you going to do?
it's a private transaction.
Right.
Yeah. Lots of those going on.
Yeah, but the thing though is that he should understand his position. As soon as he's wearing a polo with the PWCC on it, right now that's the scarlet letter in the hobby. People
is.
don't trust you. Like they're not going to inherently trust you because you're wearing the uniform, and you might not be on the clock, but you're wearing the uniform.
Yeah, there's a few companies out there. Anyways, there's a few companies out there.
Yep. So good evening, Justin. Absolutely. Yeah, like Gary Cole answering the person of Spider Attack. You are correct. Not his finest moment. Yep. Like I said, it didn't have to be that difficult. He made it more difficult than he had to be. If you ask to print a bid for you, you can, as a seller, ask 2 friends to show bid your item. Also impossible to catch it down right. Yeah. Our statement isn't really that you can't do it. It isn't really. By the way, it's not even whether it's good or bad. Obviously, shill bidding hurts because it creates this dishonesty in terms of a result. It affects the outcome. Because a lot of times folks will try to use the excuse, oh, well, the one who won was actually a real bidder, and he would have won it anyway. You're right, but he would have won it cheaper. It would have been a more honest result. Even if they were willing to pay the moon unlimited amounts, they didn't have to pay the amount they paid. You created a scenario where suddenly they had to in order to win the auction that they would have won otherwise, to your point.
Yeah, it's a tough call. It's hard to really track all that, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's times that I know I was shill bid up by, because I email a customer and say, hey, do you want to sell this item now? And make them an offer, and they don't take it down. No, I want to let it run through its auction. So they have $20 on it. I said I give you $80 for it because it's probably worth 100, 150, whatever. So all of a sudden, I get my bid up to $80. The other person was at $79.95, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
How did that work?
But that's the key. Like, if it had run honestly, even though you were willing to pay $80, maybe it turned out the market was a little softer and you would have won it for 50 or
Yes,
40.
exactly.
Which would have been a more accurate comp. So this is a situation where money changed hands, a legitimate transaction, but the result was illegitimate because somebody extended a hand to kind of help things along and get it to a place it shouldn't have gone to.
My
Sometimes they're
understanding.
not even
Sorry, go ahead, Andy.
Well, like Bobby's saying, it's not even that smart. If you look at some of these auctions on eBay, there's zero feedback, and they're just going up. It's not even. They're not even trying to hide what's going on sometimes.
Well, I think one of the drawbacks is a high bid. If you know that platform, it's all these auction houses and the small little farm auctions and whatever. They culminate into high bid, so they go on their forum and they have their little auctions all over the world, all over North America. So you can log in and just bid on whatever ones you want. They are allowed to see what you're bidding, what your high bid is in the background.
Okay.
And I went, what? And then every time I get my brother-in-law, I buy some stuff from him because I get shipped to, down in St. Louis. We always end up at that point. Well, my max bid's this. And I go, it's amazing how many times we hit that max bid point. It's like, really? So that stuff's out there, but we don't care because if we didn't want it, we wouldn't have paid for it. So whatever.
Yeah.
And how it may have not have. Well, may have doesn't hold up in court.
Yeah. One thing I'll throw in there as well, though, and again, it goes back to being cognizant of your situation. If I was PWCC, I would do everything in my power to run the straight and narrow as much as possible. I need to establish at least maybe I had my issues in the past. When I was on Dustin's channel talking about a couple different things, we got into the water conversation very briefly, but I just said, and I gave it for him and his audience. I just wanted them to hear kind of my take on it. I believe that WADA did a lot of wrongdoing. I believe they did a lot of shadiness. I think they're going to get away with it in the end. But I also think that Collectors has an advantage in that if it ever became real heat, they could point out and say, well, that wasn't under our watch. Mm-hmm. You know what? We'll send the guy that was previously running it. I think Dennis Kahn was the young guy who started it up. It's like, all right, well, he's off the board. He's off everything. He's out of here. We booted him out. So don't worry. Everything's clean and narrow. It's like everything's legit. Family friendly fun, everybody. The mob's gone. But that's the thing. You have plausible deniability because Collectors wasn't involved when the company was first founded. So they can say like, well, that wasn't us. We didn't set any of these things in effect. But we are going to capitalize on the fact that through the things you did, you became the de facto number one.
Yeah.
So
The
we'll
hardest-
take the de facto number one.
The hardest thing to prove going back is, and we talked about this, is intent. It's just so hard to prove. And like, unless you find an email or a paper trail, which you're
That's
never
it.
ever going to find. That's what guys always say. Well, this guy, you know, duped me into a card, and I got a fake card, or I got this, or I got that. That's horrible. And you wish you could snap your fingers and the guy could be processed, whatever it is. But unless you can prove intent, you're never going to get anywhere. And people know that, and that's the big problem.
Well, it's knowing the game. You know, it's fight the battles. You know, you have a chance of winning. So that's
Plausible
it's your
deniability.
choice. It's your
I know
choice.
it.
It's your choice. You know what kind of game goes on. Play the game. Don't play the game. It's
The
up to
reason
you.
I wanted to say it though, and part of the reason that the WADA thing has been fun for me and the time that I've discussed it and worked through it, is that they're in a relatively new market. Graded video games is still in its infancy in that market, relatively speaking. VGA's been around a while, but WADA was really the only other player. So don't think like what PSA and those guys are now. Think of what they would have been in 1995, 2000, 2001. It wasn't what it is today. For us, it's been 30 years. We've already been down this road. Like, we've been down this road quite a ways. For that market, it's relatively new. Well, we've gotten a chance to see it play out in the social media age in front of everybody. Carl Jobst did 2 exposés laying this out for everybody.
Yeah.
But my point when I said it in Dustin's thing is like, they're going to get away with it. Because at the end of the day, not enough people care. Not enough people are willing. It's too difficult to prove intent, to Andy's point. And as a result of this, those of you who are in this market need to understand it's dirty. It's always been dirty. That's why when folks complain about the grading thing, it's like, yeah, I know. It's like, what doesn't bother you? It's like, I'm half Colombian and half Panamanian. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
Just understand how to work within the system and operate within it, and understand, look, as long as you know enough so that you don't get conned yourself and you can work within the parameters of the game we're playing in, guess what? Nobody's playing fair in this game. But if you understand that, well, then you're probably not going to play fair either. So then it's not going to be an issue. We're all on a level playing field. Mm-hmm. If we're all kind of cheating, well, then it's kind of even, isn't it?
Really? That's the truth.
Yeah. So that's the only reason. I know it's not what people want to hear. They would love to hear a more pure version. It's like, well, we're a little late on that, guys. The first PSA card ever.
You can't use ignorance as an excuse in this, because
Yes.
you got to know where you're going to get burned.
Yeah. What I would say is it's good for, I want people to at least be aware. I don't want the people that are coming into this later to be unknowing. It's good to educate, make sure they understand what they've gotten into, make sure they understand where they're operating. I think that's fair, because then they're not operating in the dark, they're not operating in the blind. That's where the experienced folks can help. It's like, look, we'll tell you the ways, but just understand you're not playing a fair game. This isn't the game's rigged. The house wins. So, but guess what? You can still win while the house wins. You just got to understand how to play.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's
Perfect.
Like, yeah. As long as you know that, then guess what? Yeah, it's an unfair game. But we've been playing it this whole time, and some of us have succeeded despite the fact it's an unfair game.
Well, for every, let's say, instance of shenanigans, so to speak, there's always the wins, right? There's the
Absolutely.
unsuspecting, hey, that thing should have went for 250. It went for $40. I'm happy as a pig, and so good and bad. I get more good than bad, so I'm very happy with what the results.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get fooled with, bidding something up to any degree. And it happens when it comes to big items. Like you get an empty display box from the 60s, it's going to go for, $2,500, $3,500 for sure. Empty, cardboard, display, yes. And that's what they go for. And some of them go for 5, 6, 7,000. And you play that game, then you're into another game. Because you don't know. There's no precedent. Boxes. Like they say, why don't you price them out? And I said, there's only one known. Like, well, you knew what what the other ones go for. I'm going, no, it's only one known. Like, that's the unknown is one known.
It's a real 101.
Real round one. Well, that's what that's what BMW Brian Wentz said. He goes, what are you going to price the New Zealand lawn at? And I said, well, not at your $100,000 that you said that you privately sold it for. He goes, well, you estimate other things. Why can't you estimate that? I said, it's a New Zealand lawn. It's the number 37. It's a super rare card. There's 3 known. And you want me to go by your pricing? Come on, brother. I said, no price. Yeah. If I get 3 confirmed sales, then I'll put a price on a big ticket item. Otherwise, no. No private sales allowed. Sorry. I don't price like homie. Don't price like that.
Oh, look at that! You're bringing homie. I see,
I know
I see
you'd
what
like
you did
that.
there.
Thank
I
you.
see what you did. All right. So Robert here says Probstein is top dog on eBay for card consigners. Cheaters prosper. Yeah. Well, look, it could be worse. It's not like he's flaunting the cheating. It's not like he brought Bill Master on
I was
Instagram
just gonna
Live.
say
Like,
that.
look, did I mention that we're playing in dirty waters? We've been doing this all along. By the way, the first PSA card was trimmed. PSA
Yeah.
number 1 is a trimmed card, admittedly trimmed. We've been doing this since day 1, from this very day. And
I
guess
think
what?
if we
We're
say
still
that
playing.
enough, I think if we say that PSA first card trim enough, even though the book, the card has been out, and I've said
Yep.
it 50 times, and everybody else has said
Yep.
it. Not too many, everybody else. I'm sorry. No,
Yeah.
they don't really say that.
Yeah.
But, eventually maybe they'll grab it back and take it off the block.
I'll bet the under. It's one of I think someone will.
But they
actually-
can't deny it. They cannot
No,
say
no,
to me,
no.
and they
I don't
can't
think
push me
anybody's
down
denying
for it. And I'm going to say it whenever I need to say it. I don't care.
But what if the next play is to put that one up for fractional, and then the shares actually go for higher than the previous comps?
That would
It's
be something.
infamous now. It's infamous now.
So then it gets a pass, I guess.
Collectible, you're welcome. I just gave you the $10 million idea.
That's okay.
10 million, easy.
Jeremy's money gets to go in your pocket today. Okay.
There you go, beautiful. So your Ty says, just hopped on, spoke with my dad today. My dad told me one day with PSA will get caught giving a higher grade on a card on a high-end vintage card for money under the table. I don't know if I agree with him. Andy, get on
one
that.
day.
Could you get on that?
One day.
Good evening, Paul. Absolutely. Hobby champs, happy Christmas Eve. Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those things where it goes back to just the reason why I phrased it the way that I did earlier. Those of us who are more veteran hobbyists, we're not unsympathetic. Unfortunately, we've developed a lot of calluses in the way that this game works. It's like, it doesn't really bother us anymore. It's just like, yeah, people cheat.
I think a lot of people came into this, when the hobby exploded with everybody coming in and investing in a happy. I don't think they saw what they really needed to see.
Mhm.
It was just a way to, hey, I can hedge my bets, make money. They made a lot of money, and then boom, it's like, wow, what happened?
Yeah, well, they got the Fantasy Candyland version of it from a lot of
They did.
influencers for a
Well,
while.
no, Carlos, the hobby got smarter.
Oh yeah,
And when Andy's video comes out, I have a little fun with that one. I got a beautiful analogy, but I saved it exclusively for
Yeah.
Andy's video first.
It'll be
I
out
want it to come
before
out
the
there,
before
and then
the
I'll bring
first
it
of
back.
the year.
Yeah, I'll bring
It's
it
awesome.
back. I already gave it to him. It's going to be there. But as soon as that thing plays, the second it plays, very next live stream,
All bets
we're
are off,
bringing it.
right.
We're bringing it into Parlance. Yeah, I got my answer. I've given my answer to the hobby has gotten smarter thing. But we'll get back to that. Don't worry. In due time, my friends. In due time. But yeah, I thought those two stories were a little bit fun, though, because they kind of fall into the same thing. PWCC is getting a little cute. They're getting a little cute. And they're already kind of slipping on the facade of, like, look, you need to be selling integrity. Even if it's not true, you need to sell integrity through
You
the
got to
hill.
go over and beyond
Yes,
with
you
people.
need to go out of your way to please. Everyone must please be on your best behavior. Please don't do anything stupid. Please don't do anything that looks borderline. Even if it looks By the way, it doesn't have to be you did something wrong. It just needs to look. If it looks bad, it's still not good.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do anything bad going forward. I think Eric just got caught on a brain skip. That's it.
No,
Just
that's
kinda
fair.
Thought
I
about
think,
it.
and I think Bobby might be onto something because he got a question. It was so simple, but then he started replaying in his head. Well, I'm not allowed to do this. I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not allowed to do this. And instead of like saying no, he kind of like went through his, the whole.
Or he went through that deal that he bought from the other, and then he kind of
Right.
eliminated that and went, "I'm not registered." So
My thought process.
that takes 5 seconds.
my theory was that he was already thinking of a counter and he wanted to phrase it very carefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because
It's
he
true
already
enough.
because as soon as he sees the question, he's thinking in the back of his mind,
Oh,
I
shit.
bought that thing
I mean-
recently. What if the follow-up question is specifically about that? I better be careful how I answer this first one. It's like, well, actually, you can still make it work. You start off with no, and then you say private deals separate from the platform. Private deals separate from the platform.
Yeah.
That's allowed.
But he was being honest, anyways. I believe that.
Yeah.
I don't think he was trying to.
Let's just say, I'm not accusing him of anything. My
No,
belief is that the transaction was legitimate. I just think that these guys need to be a little bit more careful going forward, how they do their business and how much you share, because you don't need to share everything. You really don't have to.
We're just catching the fun parts in the hobby. That little clip, even though it's really nothing for the most part, it's
Yeah.
nice catching it and just going, hey, you know.
No, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Now, I touched on it a little bit. I do my videos, and by the way, chat, if there's anything in there anything that you guys want to chat about or discuss, please, by all means, feel free to throw it in there. It's the usual thing, guys. If you want to chat about anything, throw it in there, and we can definitely look at it. Now, I do my whole goals thing and everything. I know that Yannick and Bobby don't really make videos. I know Andy's got his stuff that he's doing. Is there anything that you guys are looking forward to doing? Are you going to modify anything, or is it business as usual? What are you thinking for yourselves?
Business as usual.
Yeah.
Basically, the PWCC, I was actually participating the last couple monthly. Got some great deals. Now, definitely, it's going to change a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm collecting my own things, so I'm not really... Actually, I don't even make sets or anything, or goals, or any kind of sort. I kind of just go from one thing to the next thing, but at the same time, kind of keeping 2 or 3 categories of things, so no.
I think you should start collecting Boston Bruins cards. Nobody does that.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's about time someone starts to. I think it's about time somebody starts to. Because really, who else would get them if you don't?
Exactly. I know a guy.
No, I don't. I specifically know a guy. I specifically don't know a guy.
No.
Specifically don't know a guy. I assume it's business as usual for you, Bobby?
Going forward,
Yeah.
you mean in regards to what?
In regards to things you're looking at, things you're looking for, collecting, kind of your approach, I assume not too much is going to change?
No, not too much is going to change. Obviously, with the website and the app, it's going to really change a lot dramatically after that point. I think the spring show and beyond. I'm going to really look at what I want to do. But I still have another year run after that of adding more stuff to the site, adding the Parkhurst non-sports. So I'm wondering if I should keep building it as I go on, like adding old Peachy stuff and starting to do the run up, because I have so much information on, but there's so much out there. Do I want that project? I'm not too sure. Maybe adding the 90s or collaborating with a couple people and getting that together. Seeing how far I can take it. At a certain point, it'll be a maintenance factor. And what would I like to do? On my YouTube, I think I'd like to add some specific informative videos that don't fit into the collectible scene, but they're collectibles, one of a kind kind of things, or a little bit of a rundown, but nothing that's going to get any viewers of any significance. I'm just just to add information. That's it.
I think it's fair. So Andy, I'll ask you. Other than base cards or back baby, what else you got?
Actually, I was looking at Hobby Champ's comment. And I think
I'm going to grab it in a second.
I think he's 100% right, because that's kind of like what my son and I were talking about going forward. Is it's not as easy as it was before. You just can't buy a card and flip it. So I'm going to start looking at actually go down the road of looking at some players and giving pros and cons and just giving information on how to do that. Maybe just try to get more of the information out there for how to research, how to do things from soup to nuts. And if that goes wrong, I'll just start maybe redoing some holiday musicals or.
Yeah, that might work.
That could be a thing. Yeah. Now I know the collection is de-emphasized. There are some stuff though that you and your son do like to have.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything you're looking for, or anything that would interest you to have in that portion of it?
There is. I like to collect, obviously, Philadelphia stuff, and some my son's favorite player is, and he was very early on Steph Curry, so he started collecting a lot of the Steph Curry stuff, and some of the stuff that when he was collecting it, I have to give him credit because it wasn't the rookie card that everyone was going after. It was his rookie card, but he was in his Davidson uniform.
Okay.
And that was kind of like but it was the only rookie card that he was actually in a basketball uniform, because now you see it's like his face, so that kind of stuff. But I'm just looking to grow a collection, and this is I'm not going to say it's a goal because I hate failing and I will fail at this goal.
Okay.
But I want to collect like my growing up, the guys that really meant a lot to me as a Philadelphia fan. And I have some already, but like the Mike Schmitz, the Pete Rose, and the Bobby Clarks, and the Dave Schultz, and the Reggie White, like this, just to get those cards that meant a lot to me growing up, and then just have them going for, because when I went through my dad's cards, I looked at what he was collecting. Like he had the Nolan Ryans, and he had Kirby Puckett's, and he had the Ted Williams, and it was like This is stuff that a lot of the stuff is not worth a lot, but that didn't matter. It was what he really wanted to collect, and I think that's a cool thing to focus on stuff that makes you happy, and I think that's what I'm going to look for as far as the collection for me.
I think that's very well said, and I think that's that right there. It touches on the key point. There should be, to me, even if you are of the investor inclination, which there's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. You can do that, but I think what's going to sustain you, if the profits aren't as easy, I think if there is an element to there's some stuff that I like getting at. I simplified it. I distilled it down to stuff that I think looks cool, stuff that I think is cool to me for my reasons. So if it meets that criteria, it's good, and it may meet that criteria for nobody else.
Right.
But I'm the only audience I have to satisfy. So as long as I'm happy with it, then as far as I'm concerned, it's the right move. If you're trying to make money, or if you're trying to retain value, or if that's a concern for you, well, then the calculation is completely different. How we figure that out changes.
Sure.
But, which is fine. That's okay. You can do both things, and they're very different. But long term, you're probably going to have an easier time building just stuff that you like, stuff that you think looks cool, or stuff that maybe associates with memory.
That's important.
Now, there's two pieces that I want to take then from here. One, and I think we'll touch on it some more probably in the New Year's Eve one. But we know that our good buddy Josh Luber has his visions of grandeur. I'll just state now, and I'll elaborate more later. I think in next year, there's going to be a lot more of the same verbiage thrown out there. But I think he's being overly ambitious. I think he's going to fall well short of what they're trying to do, because there isn't a lot of room to do it. It's not that it's not possible. It's that where are you going to find these people? Because they're envisioning, growing the hobby by exponential amounts. And I'm like, where are these people supposed to be coming from? That's going to be very difficult to do. The other aspect of it is there's a real possibility, and this is long-term here. We're not talking a year or two. We're going to have to see. He may get a chance to try some of his more radical proposals. Mm-hmm. If he does, there's a real possibility it won't work, or at least not work to the degree that he's hoping. It can still be profitable, but still fall short of expectations. And if Michael Rubin is disappointed in terms of expectations, we may end up in a situation where, for all of the hullabaloo about Fanatics, we may end up with a model not completely dissimilar to the existing model. We may end up right back where we started under our Fanatics overlords. By the way, I'm still taking the cash Fanatics overlords. I will speak your praises. Cut the check, and we'll make it good. I'll make it sound nice. But if we end up in a similar state, though, but with the distribution model tweaked a little bit, that would still be more profitable. That could still be more efficient. But really, nothing else changes. We end up kind of in the same general vicinity that we're at now.
Maybe. We don't really know going forward. We don't know if Luber's got a baker's dozen epiphanies just waiting to happen, and it's going to change everything. Or maybe just going forward, and they're just taking a little bit by little, and they have this little plan, and they're hoping to branch out because they're buying other companies. Mm-hmm. Going forward, they must have some kind of plan. But what big plan I can't reinvent the wheel totally.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be interesting, because every time I listen to Josh Luber talk, I go back to what I said earlier. I think he's a smart guy. I think he's got ideas. I just don't know if he understands how to execute those ideas. So it's one of those things like, I think we can have a cloud ship, and then we'll put a pony on it. And it's like, we don't have cloud ships, Josh. Okay, so can we put the pony? It's like, we don't have ponies either. So what do we have? We have a Buick. Okay, then. Can we paint it like a cloud? Yes, we can. We can paint it like a cloud. We'll pretend it's a cloud ship. It's fine. Sure. Why not?
Put My Little Ponies on the door.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at is that the vision may not exactly match the results that we get, but the vision is there. The vision is there. And that may or may not be a good thing. I'm not casting judgment on whether it's a good thing or not. And my point is, they could still be successful in making a profitable venture and still fall short of the grandiose dream, because we may not quite get there, but you could still have some success.
Even if they trip and fall, they can still do okay.
Yeah, you could still get something out of it, so it could still be all right. So
how far away are we from Fanatic taking over?
Well, it depends on whether they decide to buy somebody or not.
Yeah, that's going to be the key. Yeah. It's 3 or 4 years, but if they decide to go and buy another company, then they're going to go in sooner. My concern now, before Fanatics takes over, is the massive dumping of cards that Panini is doing that. I just think it's amazing at the amount of cards that are hitting the market now, and that kind of gets me. I don't know if nervous is the word, but it changes everything you're doing. I mean,
How much
Retail.
money you need to print before you die?
that's exactly 100% Yannick. You hit it right on the head. They're just going to pump as much cards and make as much money as they possibly can. And if that means, I get a kick out of it sometimes where I'm only going to collect short prints of 50. Well, if the same player has 45 short prints to 50, is that really a short print? I mean, it's like, it's crazy what they're doing now.
Andy, it's just starting to sound an awful lot like base cards and parallels are not back, baby. Like we're
Not
starting
back,
to
baby.
pull. We had grandiose dreams of bringing it back. We're already having to scale it back, and we haven't even crossed the calendar
there
yet.
will be guys way smarter than
See,
me,
Andy's moved by my words.
right?
So real quick, I'll grab a couple of these comments.
That are way smarter than me. They're going to say, I can take this mosaic base Tyrese Maxey card, grade it for $100, even though it's a $7 card, and make money on it. That's what I'm looking for. Like some of these very much don't grade these cards, but the pop count is going to be so low. But I think we ran into that a few years ago before a lot of these guys that are in the hobby now were even born, where they're sitting on thousands and thousands of cards. Only a few are graded, but that doesn't mean they're more valuable.
I think that's fair. Let me grab a couple of these comments real quick. So outside of Hobby Goat Bobby Burrell, no one else got the link ahead of time. So if anybody wants to pop in, the link is in the chat. It's pinned. Merry Christmas, Neo. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Eric, good evening. Good evening. Merry Christmas. But no, I agree with you. I think it's going to be an interesting combination of things. Now, let me kind of play off that because this will be separate from the conversation we had in your video. But I want to open it up to Bobby and to Yannick potentially and the chat if they want to chime in on this as well. We know that when things get a little bit cold, it discourages folks from suddenly posting a lot of their content. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, it's not as easy. It's not easy for me to convey the lifestyle of being able to flip cards. So we've seen some scaling back of content already. We've seen some slowdowns. Some channels have started to reduce their output suddenly greatly. We can elaborate more on it next week, but I want to touch on it a little bit now because to give everybody an open chance to think about it and also discuss their early thoughts. How much scale back, assuming we don't get like a big reversal on the boom, assuming we don't get this sudden increase again, how much more of a scale back do we see on content, hobby content being produced starting at the beginning of the year going forward?
I think, and I want to say, I like Neo is great because he is so topical and I watch him on all the different things. And that's a guy that has content that comes out and like you, Carlos, and it's meaningful content. I think you're going to see it scaled back or just regurgitated. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing now is, unless there's something that comes out where there's a big announcement that everybody will go out and talk about it. But the top 5 picks, who to buy, I think we're seeing those kind of fall a little bit off as now anyway.
No, I agree with that. Yannick, do you want to throw any thought? I know you made the observation because Yannick was noticing that he was kind of mentioning to me that he noticed kind of the hobby drama stuff. But then also, like, when you remove the hobby drama stuff out of the feed gets pretty quiet. So, like, if you don't have drama to reach into, like, information or real topical discussion, you run out of gas very quickly in looking for folks to even talk about it.
I found myself sometimes actually even in need of drama lately. I was like, man, it's too quiet. So you're like, no, I don't need it. But it always depends, I guess, who you're following. And I actually started from like the last couple of years. You realize sometimes that not for me. Nothing against the person, but it's just like not the content and not the information I'm looking for. So,
but I think that's important, right, Yannick? And I talk about this to my son sometimes. Is why are people watching the hobby content? Is it for entertainment and personality and just like, or is it for information? And I
think
that's
very little.
Some definitely. It's like anything else. Some personalities you don't get some people you don't get along with, or you don't even like their voice or anything. So,
What?
but hey, man.
It's like this,
You know?
Yannick at the end of the year is with the controversial hot takes. Hold on, I need to cool down from these hot takes.
Put that on
There you go. Have an eggnog.
I got my cooler mug since I'm at the house. I got the cooler.
I
mug
noticed
in my
that
shirt.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, some are relevant, some aren't. I'm more into, I like the information. I like the knowledge. I like to share the information that I get that I think it's relevant and pass it on to others. That sometimes make posts or videos or food for thoughts videos.
There you go. That's fair. Let me grab a couple of these comments here. You guys are coming with some comments. Thank you for the comments. Appreciate it, as always. Business124 says, in my opinion, Nat Turner's a much stronger leader, which is why PSA will be a powerhouse than Josh Luber. Agreed, Josh has the ideas. Without execution, nothing works. I will hold judgment on a little bit of it because I want to see. Because he did do a good job building StockX. But then once StockX got to a certain point, they were more comfortable having somebody else lead past a certain point. So the question is going to be like, if you're trying to build something, you're an idea guy. We know you're an idea guy. But idea guys aren't always the ones leading. Sometimes you have a leader, and then you have an idea guy that works with the leader. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic. It's like, okay, be an idea guy, but then I hope you have a plan to get the execution part. And that's going to be, I think, critically important. Hobby Champs here says, on top of everything, it's like 6 months behind, outdated, overproduced, and unopened galore. Yep. And Neo here was, I put the comment on there. It's like Neo says he's only posting 6 days a week instead of 7. So the end is 9.
Step back. Yeah.
Yeah, we're basically done. We're in the world of Sasha T, probably trying to figure out what the 7th Neo post is.
Yeah.
Searching to this very day.
Yeah.
Golden advertisement show on Netflix. Can't wait for that infomercial. I believe there'll be like a weekly watch show, a watch party probably. If someone is starved for content on Saturdays, for example, they could have a watch party on Golden. Yeah. What? Somebody just got an idea. I just heard the sound of somebody writing a note down. That was a free one too.
Oh, wow.
I've given 2 freebies tonight. Do not say I am not in the Christmas spirit. I have given 2 gifts. 2. Josh here says, I like this channel because it comes from a collector's perspective and not hashtag invest. Thank you for putting in the hashtag. That's important. Point of view. Appreciate that. I always acknowledge the hashtag invest folk. We do not ignore them. We do not disrespect them. But we try to put a little collector slant on it. We try to put a little angle on it. I think it helps everybody. There's plenty of investment channels anyway. Unless eventually we run out of them in 2022 if the money doesn't come back. I watch a lot of hobby content, literally for entertainment purposes only, because I already know everything. See? There you go. And Hobby Champs knows. And he's still watching us, so we appreciate that. I definitely don't watch this for the personalities. No, definitely not Stockholm Syndrome. Yes, correct. You are correct, Paul. All right. I watch the show every Friday for the simple reason that I hate myself. And we hate you too. So understandable. We're all in agreement. We have consensus. It's for info, entertainment, for listening to takes of people who don't jump out of the hobby like I did. Yep. I want to hear what seasoned veterans take on current situations are. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Well, there is my 7th day of content now.
There you go.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we got caught up. Beautiful. Thank you for the comments, everybody. Appreciate it. I think it will be interesting, though, to see, because some people are going to have to adapt. And I'm already noticing, even the folks that are posting, like, they're adjusting their angle they're taking on it. They're like they're suddenly experimenting and doing whatever. And I laugh because, and this isn't a spoiler, in my last video, the final, part of my 3-part trilogy of the end of year, I'm not satisfied with one video for end of year. I need a trilogy for end of year. But my end point was like, no, I plan to stay the course on a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now. I may do more of it. I may add some more things. But actually, I pretty much plan on doing what I was doing before. Live streams and the videos where I feel like talking about whatever I want to talk about, I'm going to do that. Just like I did before.
Nothing changed.
No, the hobby's going forward for most of us who've been in the hobby a long time.
Yeah.
So we understand what's going on. The people who jumped in new, were doing all the content because everything was going up. It was great news. Every day, something new is happening. Now, nothing new is happening. They don't have enough information for content of days of old that they can bring forward or rediscuss. It's like, what's going on now? Well, stuff's going down. I don't know what can I talk about? The top 5, top 10, top whatever. Keep going. So I see there's a stable group of people that I listen to, but the other ones have kind of went away. So I don't really have to search too much farther than the half dozen that I kind of watch.
And breaking news, I don't necessarily just watch about sports card.
What?
I you know.
Somebody go over there and block the rest of the channels he's got on this YouTube feed.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to watch something else. What is wrong with you?
I know. I
How
know.
dare you?
Everybody comes out with the first of the news. It's who you prefer to watch. You know, a lot of people like coming and watching Carlos because he will give the finer details. So they all look
That's
at Carlos and then they go back and do their own. Some of them.
Look, as long as they watch
Because
mine,
for
I don't care what
content.
you do after that.
For
As long as
content.
you watch mine, I don't care what you do after that.
Yeah.
Jake Paul Pokemon Channel Watch Party? Yes.
Ooh.
Beautiful. Love it.
Yeah.
Amish Dave Archer. 98% of these clowns don't have any knowledge to share. Speaking of people who presumably have knowledge to share, Dave, Link, let's go,
Come.
bro. We're almost at the end of the year. Let's make this full circle. Let's get on here. You know what to do. Push the button. Yeah. Now, more than anything, I just wanted to kind of have some fun with this one because, like I said, I figured it would give some folks a distraction from their family for a little while. Get them away. It's like, please.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because even this one, my intention, part of the reason I'm encouraging Dave is because this one I will be cutting this one off. I started it earlier than normal, and I'm going to be cutting it off way earlier than normal. We're not even going to get to midnight, so just be aware of that. I'm going to have a hard stop, probably around 11:30ish. That's my plan, assuming we have the chat and everything going at the same time. That's why I say, if anybody wants to come on, don't wait. You don't wait for hour 4. You may not find it. Where's my Santa hat? Got lost in customs. PWCC was supposed to ship it. It was very disappointing. By the way, no one referenced the character on the other side of my thumbnail yet. Come on, guys. It's a Christmas classic.
Oh,
How dare you?
And the way he moved was very rigid.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what the heck? No, it was funny because when I
Miser
made the
and-
thumbnail, I did put the Santa hat on, which was awesome. It was fun. And the picture worked with it. It was actually worked very well. I was very happy with it. But then I was like, let's put something on the other side. It's feeling a little empty. It's like, we need the character over there.
Yeah.
I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'm going to grab a beer.
Go for it. No worries.
He's going to look up Yeti. I
Mr.
knew it.
Eric, how's it going? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. How you guys doing?
Hare Krishna.
Merry
Hey.
Christmas.
It's going well. It's going well. You were able to stop the mobile truck. That's good.
Yeah.
He had to think about that one. That's a callback.
So
and
yeah,
Eric Myers, they're all having fun.
yeah,
Well, yeah.
yeah. I just came from a family Christmas Eve thing. So
Yeah, I figured
They
that.
kicked you out.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, yep. They finally smartened up after all these years.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's all right. Listen, if you could have just told them you wanted to hang out with Marcel, and they'd be like, "Yo, please don't talk about Marcel. Leave us alone. Go, 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 go."
Get on your bike and go.
That's right. Real quick, I'll grab a couple comments here. You got it right, Bobby. Watch Carlos for the full version description. 6-hour opinion. Yes, Love it.
6 hour opinion, yeah.
that's right. Logan Paul fought Jake Paul with the universe implode and revert to pre-influencer times. Ooh, interesting. I like it. I like it. All right. Josh here, time to talk baseball. I'm always game to talk baseball. And I know Eric loves baseball. Carlos taking tips from Dustin on the thumbnails. There you go. Hey, for the record, my picture is the same picture that I always use. The only thing I did was add the Santa hat on my side of things.
Good cropping job.
Yeah, like I was very pleased with myself. It worked out. And by the way, no one noting the festive background. We got the little snow thing going on. Come on.
It's a wonderful life.
It's been going so well.
Pretty close, yeah.
So Mark here says, I wouldn't be shocked to see Fanatics buy Beckett. Ooh, the black hole. And then selling graded cards of the GOAT separate from packs. Listen, if somebody bought Beckett and at least got them to actually say something, that'd be a step in the right direction immediately. More praise for our Fanatics overlords.
I just wanted to buy Beckett and fix their website.
They need something. They need someone to step
And their
in do
holders and the cut and names.
There's a lot of things. How about some anti tempering and anti counterfeiting measures on the holders too, just for the hell of it.
Really? That too?
Yeah, let's give it a go.
We only have so much money.
Hey, Carlos, everyone, guys, I'm being summoned for a game of Racco. I must be away.
No
Before
worries,
you go,
Andy.
Andy, what is Recco?
It's a I just learned about it myself. It's a card game where basically you're given a bunch of cards, you put them in, and the goal is to get them from lowest to highest, kind of
Okay.
like their take on gin, but the cards
Gin.
go from 1 to 60. So you could have like 1, 7, 15, 35, 40, and when you get all of them, you Racco, and then you count and you go.
Andy, if there's any wagering in this sounds like they're conning you.
That's like
If
basketball.
there's any money
scores.
involved,
I am
then get out while you still
definitely.
can.
I am definitely. I don't have any advantage here.
Nice.
Those are basketball scores. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
so,
it.
So Andy, appreciate you popping on very much. Merry Christmas. Enjoy
Of
your
course,
holidays.
guys. Take care. Thanks, all you. Look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Absolutely.
Merry
Take it
Christmas.
easy.
Bye-bye,
Thank you for
guys.
popping
Merry
in.
Christmas.
All right, so real quick, 4-leaf cards. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas to you as well. What do you guys think will be the cards you'll see in 2022? We'll touch on that in 2 seconds. Korean cardboard. Merry Christmas as well for you. Eric has relatives in Littleton. Thanks for a great 2021. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Wow.
So it's a good question. But Mr. Eric, before I get to this question, it's a good one. I'm going to leave it on the screen for a second. Otherwise, I know that as we've gone into in the holiday and everything, I'll ask the question I asked the guys a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Are you planning on changing anything up for 2022? Staying the course, changing anything up, anything you're thinking about that?
I've kind of kept the course my entire collecting life. I haven't really got out of my lane. As I've gotten older and worked harder and had more income, spent a little bit more money. But as a rule, I really haven't changed much. I really like the lane that I'm in, the focus that I have. I'd be scared if I expanded somehow. I just, there's not enough room to store anything else. The only thing that I'm thinking about is how can I swing coming up there twice next year?
You notice this is a far cry from the
We'll be
original
here.
statement during the course of the act. It's like, oh, I can only do it once a year. It's like, okay, seriously, how can I just go? Look, should I just rent a house? Can I get Marcel in on this?
Yes.
Yeah. Sleepovers at Marcel's.
Just saying.
Niagara Falls.
I'm just throwing
Right
it
there.
there.
Buy a
I-
van.
I know.
Look, listen, I'll tell you what. I may have a subject matter expert that may
Chevy
be able to
van.
help you, allegedly, to be able to kidnap Marcel. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what you need.
You dig
I'm
it
sure
all out.
never needs to
Boston
get done.
Bruins.
Yeah. I'm Steve Archer. How are you?
Hey, Dave.
Dave.
What's up, Dave?
I can't hear you too much, Dave. Can you talk again?
Hello.
Okay, now I hear you. Okay, cool. No, like it was like I literally couldn't hear you. I saw your mouth moving and I wasn't hearing any sound. Yeah, exactly. I got a guy that we do that with. Don't worry. And he may have been in the highlight package of the last video that'll come up.
No.
Oh, I know. It's shocking but true. I gave Yannick a little sneak preview of one part of the clips that I played. Our good friend gets its own little section. But don't worry, Dave. You were there as a cameo appearance in a few of the footages.
Ooh.
Absolutely. Don't worry about it, guys. We got you covered. I had fun. The last video, so between the 3 videos, the first one already came out. That was the second one will be the favorite pickups. I kept it lean. I could have been a lot more aggressive. There was a lot of good stuff that I was really happy with, but I was like, no, let's keep this simple. The last one will be 26 minutes. I'll go over a couple of different things, and we'll do. It's not going to be overly clip heavy, but I'll do a couple of my personal favorites. But there's plenty of other stuff I could have included.
I believe that.
Absolutely. So, Dave, let me ask you the same question real quick. I know for you it's probably going to be the same, but then, of course, then we'll open it up to this question and anything else that we want to chat about real quick. Is it pretty much stay the course for you in 2022? Are you going to tweak anything, change anything? Go from 50,000 player collections, from 49,599? Small adjustments, anything?
It'll depend, like it's been the last couple months. I've been more in picking up the old DVDs for the Amazon and made my list for stuff. Pro Wrestling Gorilla. And I might do that more. Just because.
Now, quick question. Sorry, Dave. Guys, question. Is it just me or is Dave's volume super low?
Yeah, it's muffled.
I just wanted to make sure, like, we can sort it. I can hear you, Dave, but it's kind of muffled a little bit.
He's talking underwater.
Yeah.
Per the usual.
Oh,
That's
there we
better.
go.
That was
Perfect.
better. Yeah.
But yeah, if Brodur stuff pops up that I need, I'll go after it if it's feasible to go after it. Same with all the other collections, but there hasn't been a ton of stuff to go after.
Mhm.
Or it's just been at a ridiculous price point where I'm not I'm not going to just jump in because, I need it or I want it.
Dave, I don't know what you just did, but your volume got way better.
Oh
I don't know
yeah,
what
you
just
fixed
happened.
it.
Clear as a bell. Nice.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
But no, I caught the gist was that obviously it's been more difficult to find certain stuff for those player collections, which totally makes sense. I get that. Now, obviously for you it's different because you also collect other sports and other players in other categories, and you very much like the process of getting stuff in on a pretty regular basis. That's kind of been your MO with a lot of this collections and stuff. I'm looking at it as kind of an opportunity. Honestly, for me, it's like, okay, if it gets really hard to find some of this stuff, okay, means I don't have to buy as much stuff. It means I can be really picky. It means I can afford to be like, okay. Also, if it's something that I do decide to pick up and I need to be more aggressive with it, well, the luxury of not spending money on the relatively smaller stuff is that you may have some room in the budget for some of that bigger stuff and maybe be able to go after it if you really want to.
Yeah, there's that opportunity, but the last 3 or 4 that I've looked at for Brodur that I've had sort of a price point at, it's been 2, 3, 4 times what I was going to have my max bid at. And I'm like, it's not like $10 and then I went for 40. It's like I wanted to pay $250 and it's going for like 600. So I'm like, that's just too big of a discrepancy. Even if I cut out a purchase here, a purchase there, it's just I'm not going to pay that much. There's always something else to play.
I think that's fair. I think that's reasonable.
I think with most veteran collectors, they're basically staying the course. I don't think really too much has changed. A lot of the stuff really didn't change for us, card-wise, price-wise, collectible-wise. We didn't go for the rare refractors that were, $500. Now they're $1,500 or $15,000. So, I think we're all kind of safe in our own our lane. So Eric said so.
I think that's fair. So real quick here, I'll let me read these ones and I'll come back to this question, DR, because I do like the question. Hobby Champ says here, Chobby Champs, YouTube content coming in 2022. There you go. Can't wait to get started. The worst possible time in the hobby. It's not nearly the worst possible time. I know we always enjoy saying, oh my God, no, it's not even close. You're fine. You're good.
Nothing has changed for me. I don't know.
Yeah. No, but like, here's the thing, even beyond you, Bobby, like it's fine.
I know.
Like it's perfectly fine. Like I've seen in the card side of things, the supposed down period, it was fine. And this is nowhere near that supposed down period. It's not prices are tripling in price every 5 seconds, which, by the way, is normal. It was never like that before. No, people who want to get stuff can still get it. People who find projects and things that interest them are still able to do that. And if prices come back down a little bit, in fact, more people are going to be in the game. It's going to bring them in and they'll be able to have some fun with it. There may be economic factors that may cause them to use their disposable income on other things, but it's supposed to be a hobby anyway, so really that shouldn't be as big an issue for you. So just something to be aware of. Yep, Jeff and Band, absolutely. Merry Christmas. And we're here. Let me grab this last one here. I'd like to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Absolutely. Thank you, JW. Enjoyed and looked forward to listening to your takes on cards, collector shows, and life. Absolutely. Thank you very much for that comment. Appreciate that.
I had something to say to Dave if we have a second.
Go for it. Yeah.
So Dave, watch the show all the time on Tuesdays. Always have fun with you guys. And one of the things that you talk about and share is your Brodur collection. You mentioned, got mentioned a couple of seconds ago. I haven't got, I haven't gotten out of my lane, and I haven't gone looking for Brodur at shows. But what I did do is go through all my old stuff up in the attic and pulled out all this different Brodur cards that I collected years ago in the 90s. And I've been enjoying them. I've been enjoying, going through them and getting all the inserts and the serial numbers and all that. And that's what I really enjoy about talking to you guys and going on the shows and hearing other people's collections, because it got me thinking I must have Brodur stuff, and this is like the winningest goaltender in history. And the guy I watched his entire career from his, first game to his last in St. Louis. I watched his entire career. So, I went digging for it and spent some time. And so thanks to you and talking about it all the time, I went and found some pretty decent stuff. actually. You know, I mean, there's a finest.
Okay, the 94, 95 finest. Yeah.
Yeah, it still has the
The peel.
Peel.
the peel on it, and here's a gold ultra.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and here's a premier. And but it's got like all the, little dazzly things.
Oh, okay. Is that like special
Dazzling.
effects? I think that's
Yeah.
special effects for one
Yeah,
of those years.
I don't know what the hell it is, but that's that one's something. You know,
Trinkets, dazzly, yeah.
I don't know. You know, this isn't the stuff I collect, but I
So are
really
you saying you're gonna compete with Dave now?
no. I just wanted to let him know that
Tempting you, Dave.
No, I honestly wanted him to know that he's not wasting his time on Tuesdays. People are listening. I'm going to use this word, inspired.
Potato.
I was inspired. Carlos had to leave. He couldn't keep a straight face.
I needed a moment. And by the way, what I just did there, that's foreshadowing into a clip in the highlight one.
Oh no.
So,
You'll get it.
you know, I just by listening to him and hearing about his passion for something, I got me thinking, and then I went off and had fun going through all my old stuff and pulling out some what I think is some really nice stuff. So, I just wanted him to know that.
Dave, there you go. Beyond your fashion sense and unimpeachable style,
Yeah.
other things on your show are fully impeachable. We won't discuss it now, but they're fully impeachable and should be impeached.
So
You're an influencer now.
You are.
I didn't know I had so much Brodur stuff, to be honest.
So read them and weep, man.
I was kind of surprised.
Paul's
So-
team peel for life. Absolutely. No,
Here's the
that's good.
serial number one. I don't know if that's out of
That's the SPX Finite. SPX Finite.
6,950. So it's not super rare.
Yeah,
What
that's
about-
that's the most common version of the base card because they numbered every single card in that issue. Base cards all the way through all the parallels. They numbered them all. It was a unique move on their part because it's actually really hard to do and actually very expensive to go. That's why they only did that for 1 year.
Okay.
1 year of that because they're like, actually, this is really expensive, guys, to serial number every single card we're issuing, and we got thousands of these. Uh-oh. The good news is you'll never get 20,000 of those because they didn't make 20,000 of them, and they're all individually numbered.
And these aren't worth a damn, but I like them because it's as minor, like kind of the classic, and their minor leagues.
Okay, gotcha.
So I think that's kind of neat. I don't know where I picked these up or how long I've had them, but I probably pulled them out of a classic pack back in 94 or something. I don't know.
That's a pretty eclectic grouping there. It's not bad. Actually, you got some. Like I said, the one I believe is the special effects because that was the one with that kind of different foliage and stuff. Because I know the one you're talking about. I have a Medano in the same series, and I believe it's called a special effect. It's a parallel of the base card.
Like
So
the
real
what,
quick here.
94, 95?
It'd be 94, yeah. Be 94, yeah. I'd grab it in the Z Folio, but I don't have access to it in this locale.
Right.
So real quick, I'll grab this, and thank you for sharing, Eric. That was actually a lot of kind of a rundown memory lane for me too, actually, because I remember a lot of those
you
cards.
guys know more about these than me. It's not really my expertise, but I collected up until 94, 95, grabbing everything during the boom.
Okay,
And then I honestly remember saying, this is getting ridiculous.
Mhm.
And I'm spending way too much money. Everybody's pulling, ripping packs and putting them in, this new invention of plastic. They're not putting them in the bicycle spokes anymore. These are never going to be worth anything. Why am I doing this? And I stopped right around 94.
And even in 1994, Eric was like, "Get off my lawn."
Yeah.
I like it.
But somehow I picked up some of these others that were probably past 94. I don't know. But somehow some of them ended up in the collection. But
That's fair.
it was fun to go through them, and I just wanted Dave to know it was because of him. And I had a good hour or so digging through some stuff and finding this stuff, and then coming back and looking at them. And so thanks, Dave.
Look at you, Dave. Good job by you, Dave. Okay. So there's actually a really good question that I like that plays into a couple of our sensibilities, but I want to touch on this one quickly because DR had this question a couple of minutes ago, and I still think it's a fair question to ask. So Dave, what do you guys think will be the card show scene in 2022? What is the vibe in 2022 at the card show scene? What are you thinking? It's not a trick question. You don't work at PWCC.
It's gonna depend again on like the COVID stuff. That's
Yeah.
gonna be that'll be the big.
That can be part of your answer, though. You in the early part of the year, it's
Yeah.
going to very much depend on what our situation is. Because if we get any restrictions on the amount of people in the building again, then
Yep.
that will immediately completely change the dynamic of the whole thing coming out of the blocks in 2022. That doesn't mean that it will be like that the whole way. Because
No.
as you readjust and you go towards the later part of the year, you can get back about where we were. We were able to have the Fall Expo.
Yeah.
We hadn't had one in 2 years. That isn't to say by the Spring Expo we can't get it back again. But in the early part of the year, we may be like, guys, maybe take a breather, maybe suspend it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Again, if everything starts rolling along and I don't know the vaccination stuff and that whatever happens, and the
Yeah.
stuff goes away. I don't think it'll be the big boom that it could have been if we didn't have COVID like last year. But COVID was the reason why people got back into the hobby. So
Dave, this might be big. Keep going.
I know.
Finish yourself.
So let's say COVID didn't come in, the card shows would have still been big, but we wouldn't have had all these brain surgeons and astronauts to tell us about the birds.
Interesting.
I don't
We
know.
still have had F1 though.
I don't know.
We would have had the tractor pulls instead.
Ooh. So you're saying in this alternate reality I prefer it. Tractor pulls are kind of okay. F1, Grand Prix of Monaco. I can live with. Look, I'm torn, man. Look, I'm kind of stuck in the middle on this. But I agree with Dave. The COVID thing is going to be a major factor at the beginning of the year, especially. That it doesn't mean it'll be the whole story the whole year, but it's going to be a big part because any organizer, any show promoter worth their salt has to be thinking about that right now. They're going to be like, okay, so how does this affect me? Can I get dealers out? Can I get people in the building? What do I have to do? Would I be better off waiting until March or April and figuring out my situation? Because by March, April, or May, maybe we're okay, sure, we can figure something out and we'll make it work. And that's going to be part of it. So that can slow things down and get us off to a slow start on the card show scene in 2022, just out of the blocks. Do any of you guys want to add anything, either that or something else that you may be thinking about for 2022?
Anything Monaco and Vegas, I'm in for. So
That's
Well,
exciting.
Yeah,
I'm not
Jan, if
even
you have
actually
something.
having the Dave actually mentioned something that and intrigued me there. Like, do you really guys think we're exactly where we are now if COVID didn't happen?
no. Oh,
No.
In
Yeah.
the hobby,
I think
know,
so.
In the hobby,
in
no.
the card
Hobby.
business, the hobby.
I think where things have settled back down, they're above, but they were growing anyway, so they might have been pretty close to that. Not this grandiose super stuff, but the general hobby across the board. Because it was on an upswing before.
Like we're on
COVID.
an upswing, but I'm just curious, like because Dave mentioned like how 2022 now, if let's say we go under restriction and like you put the recipe from what all the ingredients that we had in March, right? Like the COVID, people stayed home, and then checks, right? You remember there was checks everywhere. Government was just sending checks. So
And the Marcel
obviously-
Dion videos coming out.
yeah,
No, that really did happen.
Oh,
Of course it did,
So-
Eric. It wasn't just
No,
you
when
imagining it.
Ovechkin passed him, he put out a video that was played over in 2 countries.
that's what made it go big. I knew it wasn't just Jordan.
That's
I knew it.
important. That is critically important. That's true. As soon as Marcel spoke, everyone listened. That's right.
I did.
I do agree with Yannick in kind of it is a fun exercise to think of the alternate reality version of it. I will say, for me, like I said, I started doing the sports card thing on here in 2018. So I would have done it anyway. But it would have changed almost everything else dynamic wise because and forget about the payouts and all that, because of course that's a factor. But let's think about this logically for a second. Like, just for a second. I was working in the office at the time, and my commute at the office for the GO train and for the subway. So I was taking two things at the work that I was doing. Was running me about $450, $500 a month in commuting costs alone.
It's a lot of Medano cars.
It's a lot of anything you want. It's a lot of whatever. It's a lot of groceries. A lot of anything. That was $500 a month for me in my budget available suddenly. That wouldn't have been available otherwise. I was still working. I was working at home. I was fortunate that I could work from home, and we really didn't miss a beat. But all of a sudden, I was saving $500. Oh, and I would go get myself as a treat an overpriced Starbucks cold brew coffee, $5 a day. Well, there's $25 a week. There's another $100, $600. So all the expenses related. Oh, and if we eat out lunch at all, add that in. Like all of a sudden, all these. It's like, where did all this money come from? It's like actually I had it all along, but it was getting spent in these things that I needed as the commuting, what I was doing. And I tried to be modest about it, but even still, in my relatively modest thing, I'm talking about $600 or $700 a month, every single month. Add that up over the course of a year. How much extra disposable income is that?
It's a hell of a raise if you got one.
Basically.
And Joe Average, Carlos, I know your situation's a little different, but Joe Average, you're also putting gas in a car, car repair bills. You have your other entertainment, going out to the movies, going
strip clubs,
strip clubs like Bobby likes to do. All those different things, shopping, just
no judgment,
just just going to the mall and blowing money, all that stayed in people's pockets.
Yeah, and I think people forget the impact of that. Like, this is not a lot of people immediately jump to like, oh, the COVID checks and all that. What about people who are working, who continue to work, whose expenses just naturally got reduced? Like that's why I used I was able to give you real numbers because as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, so I don't have to pay for the GO train at all. I don't have to pay for the subway at all. My grocery store is a couple of blocks down. I can walk to it, go grab my groceries and carry them back. On Sunday, I go over to my family's dinner, I walk down the street. So it's not like these things were not costs for me, but all of a sudden it's like, well, the costs that I did have, I just reduced them substantially. I didn't save a couple of bucks. For a lot of people, if I tell you and I snap my fingers and I give you another $500, $600, $700 a month, tax-free dollars, because this is post-tax, available to you, does that change the game for anybody on the screen or anybody else? It's not an insignificant sum. And by the way, every single month for a year. There's a lot
not to mention that if you had some cards that really went up in price, you made a heck of a ton of money.
Yeah.
You sitting on a couple Gretzky's before, and you just kind of said, holy shoot, yeah, I got a couple sitting around.
Yeah.
I don't really want to sell them now.
I didn't sell one card, man.
Yeah, but the point is still that that changes it. It's not just the one category. It's like all of a sudden, oh, you got more time to yourself and you got more disposable income that you didn't have to do anything special to get. You just did your work however you were doing it before, and it's like the money was available because you didn't need to spend on these other things.
And most people's social life stopped too, right? Mm-hmm. And so, the podcast went crazy because, hey, social. Here we are. We're all social right now.
Absolutely.
Do you think maybe we experienced 5 years of the hobby in the last 20 months?
Probably. Honestly, probably. There was a
like,
lot of movement.
Like Bobby was saying, like it was already on the slope, on the momentum, and now put all of those ingredients, the perfect storm. But now you're seeing everything kind of like, leveling back, prices, platforms, auction houses, ways to buy. Where's Starstock now? Did anyone use this anymore? Like,
it's slowed down a lot. Yeah. I'm just getting caught up on a couple of these comments here. Yeah, for DR, this would be, so for content, it would be a big difference. Like for content, it'd be a huge difference. If COVID didn't happen, I wouldn't be with you guys. And
I'm in the same situation as DR.
Absolutely. A lot of folks early on in the year were joining me on the live stream, and I did a couple of clips to acknowledge that because some of the folks that were there at the beginning of the year are not here at the end of the year. Even though, like, obviously COVID's still in effect, they were able to do other things in the interim once things became more available to them. It's like they didn't suddenly have the time. which is fine. I get it. I'm not offended by it. For me, it's a Friday hangout. So like for me, it's just it's now a habit and it's something that I can do and it's easy for me to set up and it's like it's great. But I get that for folks who have plans on Fridays and things like it's just easier to do their other stuff. But some of these people will still catch it on replay and they'll message me and say, "Hey, I caught the show" or whatever, and it's like awesome, appreciate it. That's still just as good. So Baz, Merry Christmas. I'm just making sure we catch a couple of these. Marcel Dion, one of Canada's finest actors. Correct, Robert. Thank you. Absolutely. Hey, somebody said strippers. Correct. Done. Okay. I quickly want to answer this question for Korean Cardboard. It was a good question. How do you store Medanos? There's a little bit of variation, and for the player collectors here, so I'll let Dave interject as well. So I've got a couple of different categories. The Z folios are for a lot of the playing day stuff right now. I've been able to put them in the Z folios in the order that I basically use that Beckett list order, even though it's not my favorite. It helps establish an order and leave me gaps in the right spots. So I do use it a fair bit. The really nice cards will be in one touches in a box separately. And a lot of the other stuff that kind of falls into more newer stuff. Right now I've got in shoe boxes inside of either top loaders or one touches depending on the situation. So I've got an upper deck box. For the really nice stuff, I have a box that is strictly the Cup and UD Black because they're two of my favorites. I've got a box, that hard box that I got at the Fall Expo, Yannick. I'm using that for be a player in the game in Leaf. I'm literally using it in that spot, like so. I use all the sections, so I put them all there. Yeah, and they're all in like these one-touch, basically holders anyway. So it's like it just makes my life easier. So you have to come up with your own organizational. So for a lot of these more expensive or memorabilia cards would be the category that mainly this falls into. It doesn't really fit into a Z folio. It doesn't work. For a lot of the 90s stuff and those inserts and parallels, I can totally fit them in a Z folio. It's great. But for the memorabilia cards, it doesn't make it. You're not going to put a patch card in a Z folio. I wouldn't. Dave, do you have any different or similar setup for your player collections and stuff like that?
I just used for Josh Johnson. I've got 6 4-row shoe boxes, and then I've got 2 2-row graded, and that's even too few. I need to probably, I don't know how long ago I bought it, but it was about 25 of the 2-row graded shoe boxes. I got to put a couple of those together and sift through, and because I know I've got probably at least one more box to fill up with stuff that I've got over the past few years. Mm-hmm. But that's basically it for when everybody's got some sort of 2-row shoe box. Or the 4-row from like way back when. So Doug Martin's got, I think, 2 of them. Northcut's got, I think, 1.5 4-rows. Mike Sims Walker's got a 3-row flow. I mean, McCown's got, I think, a 4-row flow. So Brodur's only got a 2-row graded, but there's a lot more I could. That'd be another one I could actually put together, another 2-row and probably throw that as well.
Yep.
I'm more particular with him, and I can be. I don't need to. With a lot of those other guys I mentioned, I've been collecting them for 20 years, 20 plus years, and when you collect everything for that long, that can't go that cheap. I've got to get it. No, you're not getting that for $3. I'll get it for $4, and I'll be happy. Mm-hmm. Brodur, I can't be. Well, I want to get this atomic refractor too. No, that's another $200-300. That deviates from me making a run at some other card that I don't have. So, hashtag good deals only.
Look at you. But no, that's fair. The reason why I wanted to ask you is because as a player collector, you also kind of get that idea. You understand conceptually. You have to build, I think, maybe the big key here is you have to figure out what system works for you. Because if you want to find XYZ, you should be able to do that. Those shoe boxes let me be able to organize it by brand to the degree that I feel like. I don't really need to be, I don't need to be fully militant on it. For me, the Cup and UD Black, I love both those series. So I like having it in the box so that it's easy for me to go. If I want a Cup card or from UD Black, I know exactly which shoebox to grab it. And I have a label maker, and I actually put labels on the outside so I can actually have it. So if they're all facing me, I can grab the specific one that I want, and within a couple of seconds, I can grab the card that I'm looking for. It's already in the exact. But you got to figure out whatever works for you, right? Whatever filing system or anything you want. You want to put in regular binders? Do that. You want to put it in the shoe boxes? Do that. top loaders, one touches, semi-rigids, whatever. It's really whatever works best for you that gets you the result you're looking for. Do that, because we got lots of good options now. And I have basically a large shoebox that is for the graded cards. The graded ones, because they're bigger and they're designed to be a little taller, it's a bigger version of the box. Well, that's where all the graded Medanos goes, including all the Be a Player Ultimates when they used to be in the Beckett style holder. They got to be in their own thing because it doesn't fit anywhere else. I can't put them with the other stuff. So if I want to go find those, I know exactly what box to go get. I don't have to guess. I know. I go grab it. This is where it is. It's just my system. And then Dave's got his system with all his various player collections. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, that's kind of the approach that we take to it. Here, DR said, cards and the connection to the hobby on YouTube is positive for my mental well-being during these hard times. Good to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
It was
Josh
something
here
to look
says,
forward
Gav.
to, especially when, I first started, earlier this year, going around YouTube and finding different shows that I, could connect with. You're sitting around all day. You feel like you're trapped in your house. You feel like a prisoner in your own home. But I could look forward to, Tuesdays at 8. I could look forward to Fridays at 9. I could look forward to Saturdays at 10. Whatever the situation is. I was even it doesn't matter. Anyways, there was a few others, that it was something to do where we had schedules, right, before COVID, and then you didn't have a schedule anymore, and the shows were a little bit of normalcy because I could have a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
It's Wednesday, so that means that this time I if I choose to, I could be doing this. It was something to look at my watch for again. Because who cares what time it is during COVID? Every minute and every day is the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, it definitely helped with, I don't know if you call it mental health, that's fine. It was good to have a place to be, something to do, a schedule to keep. Hey, what day is it? Because a lot of people during the height of it didn't even keep track of days.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had no idea what day it was. Well, I had to keep track because I wanted to see this show and watch these guys at this time, So I think it helped a little.
Yeah, I think that's good. I appreciate that. I think, though, that's going to be a thing for next year for some of these folks is that if they start getting frustrated that they're not getting the views they once did because their content isn't holding up or whatever the case is going to be, I wonder if they're going to start experimenting because routine is helpful. That was one of the key points that I hit on when I was kind of recapping it, but also thinking about it myself. I like doing the Sunday streams. I enjoyed them. The problem is they weren't good for Mondays. I had to be practical. Like if I'm going to have a longer stream and sit there and chat, like I can do it. I'm built for that. My constitution is such that I'm built for it. But then I have to have a morning meeting on Monday. Uh-oh. Real life kind of has to play into it. Friday became easier just because of that. So the Friday move wasn't because of any other reason than
What
practicality.
do you mean real life?
The thing that we do when we're not doing this nonsense.
I thought it was a lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, this is what some people will tell you. They lie.
Okay.
But, Yeah, they
there
lie.
we go.
No, your earlier this year when you were doing Friday and Sundays, those are on the schedule. That that was something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Now that all this time has gone by, and I definitely think the content is better one day a week.
Yeah. We had so much going on. Honestly, the 2 days was because there was so much going on that we could legitimately have a Friday
Right.
and still have some leftover threads to touch on discussion for Sunday that we
absolutely.
didn't have the time on Friday. Even though like it was long, we were able to be like, actually, I could completely hit this from a completely different angle we didn't even consider on Sunday and not rehash the conversation the exact same. We could have a completely different conversation.
I can say that my watch later list is shrinking in the last couple of months compared to the last. There's so much stuff coming out that I got no time. I'll watch it later. But I would say like 30% at least. My stuff like shrunk just there's less and less, and I flush a lot of people too.
There you go. Very nice.
Movies
Yeah,
are-
I'm not watching as much as I was earlier in the year. I got things to do now. I'm allowed to go out and do. I have responsibilities in life again.
Yeah.
You're
Well, I
not
think-
responsible. What are you talking
I
about?
think
I didn't
that's
say I was responsible. I said I have responsibilities.
I wanted to gloss over that entirely, Yannick, but I appreciate you bringing it up. I'm going to move past that. What I was going to say was that's what I think that was going to be the challenge for some of these folks producing this content. If it's completely disposable, I know we're number one, we get it, but it's completely disposable. It's the first one that's going to get dropped off the list. So like even the people that are willing to keep watching some stuff, they're going to get pickier. So then hopefully you bring something to the table to make it a little bit more interesting. It's like, otherwise it's not, it doesn't have to be appointment viewing anymore. What I expect is that for some of these things, some of the live stream attendance will drop off, especially if it gets opened up again and we do eventually slow it down back again in the new year. I think it'll slow, because last year, some of the busiest times was during the holiday season into the new year.
Yeah.
We'll see if that replicates this year. But some folks were there in the early part of the year that disappeared by the summertime. So like, and that's normal. That happens. Life, people have stuff to do. For me, it's good just to have a good anchor and be able to get, guys, Friday 9:00, this is where I'm going to be. Y'all can join me, not join me, watch it on replay. It's cool. It's all good. But this is what I'm going to do. Because then if I do it, then it's consistent. And then people can be like, oh, so yeah, so he's going to be on there. So, yep, just to remind you, we're still doing it. Fridays at 9 p.m. Same time. Now, I'm going to ask one thing. I'm going to get better about it in the new year, doing it a little earlier in the episode. I know there's a reasonable number of you watching. Like button, please. It is free. You don't, it's free. It's free. But if you could do that, it would be appreciated. It does help the channel. It does help the video down the stream. We must be, it can't just be our Fanatics overlords. Sometimes we got to cater to our Google overlords. Give our Google overlords a little love. They need it. It's important.
Some people don't want to hit the like because they think it's trackable.
Well, the good news is that...
So you know
check-
who's clicking out there.
Yeah. Well, the
oh
good
no.
news is if you go to Instagram, you're going to discover it was trackable anyway. You didn't have to click it. We already know who you are.
Oh.
And we know what you were shopping for. We know exactly what you were shopping for. You weren't window shopping. We know that. We'll send you ads.
It really is crazy.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Like,
crazy.
I get the paranoia of it, but it's like, no, those algorithms are good, man. It doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to click on anything. It's like, oh, you were searching for a thing on Google? You searched? You're getting an ad for that.
I mentioned Brodur earlier. I'll get an email from eBay saying, "Hey, any interest in this?"
Mm-hmm.
It's getting nuts.
Yes, absolutely. There you go, Josh. Thank you for that. Ask you to receive. No, that's the reason why I've said it to Dave and Steve as well. Look, I don't take it personally. I'm not insulted by it. I understand that a lot of folks aren't comfortable asking. And the thing is, some of the folks are willing to do it, but it's like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Or they've got it on full screen. They're not even thinking about it. And then you're like, oh, yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, here you go. It's just a reminder. It's like, at the end of the day, do whatever you want. It's your life. Do whatever you wish. But when I try, because I am on this side of it, if I watch a video and I like it, I hit the button. Just as a matter of course. I do it just automatically by reflex. And then I don't have to think about it again. It's done. They don't have to ask me. I just click it. I move on. That's so. If you don't like it, don't do anything. But if you don't like it, click off it. I don't know why you keep watching it if you don't like it. For the content creators I watch, I always like the video before I watch it in the stream, so I don't forget after. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if it's part of the habit, then you get into it. If you're consistently watching somebody, well, then maybe you like their stuff. So, yeah, do that because it does help bump it up on the list. When people search for the stuff, it moves it up that list. Like it's just a fact.
So if we look at an example like Sasha T, he was getting a lot of views.
Mhm.
And what's he at now?
Are you talking about views or videos or what?
Views, yeah.
Well, he doesn't really make videos anymore.
Enough
Yes.
said.
Yeah. I think, though, that...
So there's a guy at the top tier,
Mhm.
Well beyond most people. And it was that $400,000, whatever, card he bought, Charizard.
the Charizard was like, what? Wasn't it like 250? It was something pretty... It was like a crazy number. It was a pretty high
I
thing.
thought it was 400 in trade.
Maybe.
250 cash, and then he wanted 400 in trade.
Yeah, it was a trade deal. That's right. Yes. You're right.
And I was even watching. It was kind of interesting seeing these things go down. But at that point, and now we're at what point? What don't we see going down?
Well, the thing is, here's what I'll say. I think Sasha, because what happens is if you're paying attention to Sasha's social media, he hasn't stopped flipping cards. He still does that. But I think he realized at some point that it wasn't helping him as much because content can help you. Maybe you get some AdSense from it or something. But if it's taking you more time, because he actually hired an editor, so he's spending money out of pocket. Maybe he's making some money on it, but it's like, okay, so I got a camera following me around. I'm doing this. Is it worth it? Is it helping my business or whatever I'm doing to do this? If the answer is yes, well then great, let's do it. If the answer is no, then I could not pay an editor, not make any videos, keep doing my flipping thing, whatever I'm doing, and be able to just operate and just do my thing.
Well, I think it got him out there, being publicly known more so than not, and that got him into some deals that probably he might not have ever even got into before.
Yeah, but I think at this point, a lot of what he wanted has already been done. So when he goes to certain shows, people recognize him anyway. And if they're following his social media already, like you actually see him. So when he goes to the shows around Los Angeles and stuff, oh, Sasha T, like he doesn't have to do videos anymore for that anymore.
No, and that's what I think happened to a lot of people. They got a little bit of notoriety, and now they're floating.
Yeah, and I think as long as he's able to keep doing the deals that he wants to do, I suspect he'll get into another business eventually. But I think he's still doing some flips here and there, and as long as he's making money doing those, I don't think he cares too much about the rest of it. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's part of the reason he dropped off.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if there is much of a future going beyond for him. And because the flipping he was doing at the time was 1 week, 2 weeks, 10,000, 40,000, it was just crazy. We don't have that anymore.
Yep. So now I listen while I post and ship cars from the eBay store in the evening. There you go. Listen to the drive to and from work. Totally agree with Yannick. I jump the flashy folks. Fall seat, normally don't like a video, normally keep coming back to watch. Well, you do you. I don't, like I said, that's why I said I don't take any offense to it, but it just seems like an odd thing. It's like, well, you like it enough to keep watching it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it does actually, over time, I can see the videos that do well as the like and those engagements pick up, people leaving comments and all that stuff. As that goes, I notice that they also get in front of people more often because YouTube will promote it. YouTube themselves will be like, here you go. You like this type of video? Here's one. And they'll just push you to the top of the list. Like I said, it does help in the long run. Don Bradman, curator. Merry Christmas. Absolutely.
That was a fun night.
Yeah, exactly. You know what's funny? I'm still work in progress, but I may have a lead. I'm working with some of us Australian correspondents. I'm getting my Aussie Rules football cards, people. I'm working on it. I'm still working on it. I'm going to make this thing happen. That's my 2022 gold. We're going to happen.
Yeah, they're stuck in the camps over there.
I'll figure it out. I don't know. I got to extract it out of there. They got their lockdown down tight.
Oh, yeah.
They're keeping all their Aussie Rules football cards. They're like, no, you can't have any. Like or Stockholm Syndrome. Why not both, Paul? Why not both? You can do it. I believe in you. How do you think we got Eric? One of us.
Oh, yeah. Totally brainwashed.
Oh, yeah. Happens.
The system works. The system. Dave, I got to teach you the ways, my friend. I got to teach you the ways. This is how you got to do it. Not only will they listen to your inane ramblings, but then they will actively participate? Question mark?
I've said this to Carlos to your face. I've said it on this. The first couple of times I watched the show, I went, I don't know. I don't know.
And it was the correct answer.
Yeah. and here we are at December 24th, and I'm on the damn thing.
So Dave, if you want to take notes, I will make some time with you. I'll show you. I'll show you how it's done. Don't worry. We got you, bro. I got you.
Dave's taking notes.
Yeah, absolutely. You should. There's a way to do this. But yeah, no, I think that's fair. I do agree with a lot of the general sentiment, though. We are going to see that. We are going to see this. That's why I say I'm looking forward to it because, like, for me, honestly, it makes my life easier in the new year. It's like, okay, well, I got less of you clogging up the airspace, and I can just do my thing. If people want to watch it, then great, then I'm there. If people don't want to watch it, well, then great. Then it's not going to make any difference whatsoever. but we'll be here to provide that other angle. It won't be the happy-go-lucky, everything's awesome all the time. It probably won't be that. But, no, we could offer an alternative angle on that. I think so.
Some will still.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Some will, some won't. So what?
Yep. Get Mr. Cricket cards. You won't regret it.
Mr. Cricket.
I would like to know if that's actually his nickname.
Oh my God.
I feel like it should be on a card.
That would be awesome.
I would prefer Mr. Tiddlywinks.
We have Mr. Hockey. Now we have Mr. Cricket.
Yep. Well, listen, I'm still trying to promote. I told this to Dustin, Personal Finance Dad. I told him what we got to do. Look, if you want a television sport that apparently needs to blow up because there's always a chance, we need darts, people. They have theme music. They have girls to accompany them to their, and they have pubs full of 3/4 drunk people. You can sell these people these cards. The insert set is 180. It writes itself. You don't have to do anything. It's so obvious. I don't even know what to do at this point.
When ESPN2 first came on, that's the kind of stuff they were showing. Pool, darts, bowling. That's the kind of stuff they were showing. Remember when, I know it's a little different up there. Dave, you probably remember this, but ESPN, the main channel, basically it was just sports, the same sports center all day, just kept on repeat, right? And they had ESPN2, which, had synchronized swimming and darts and all this crazy stuff.
We had on TSN
in Mexico.
Yeah. I was just going to say, before they got the multiple channels, because eventually TSN and TSN, by the way, is part owned by ESPN.
Yeah.
But they didn't get to the point of having the multiple channels until the last couple of years, because now we have TSN 1 through 5, and then they can do the digital version where you can see stuff digitally on tsn.ca. But back in the day when they were looking for filler content, they would grab poker, they would do all that, they would borrow that from ESPN. But then at one point they would have like a time slot where they would throw in, and I remember the promo. I don't remember too much else about that whole time period, but I remember the promo. They were just like darts, snooker, darts, snooker, darts. And I was literally like, this is stupid. why are you trying to promote this to me? but they I guess they would flip between the two, and they would put it in a certain time slot, and it would be either darts or snooker, but that was like the slot for this game or this sport to be played. And they would show it on TSN, and that was part of the promo. It's like, you get darts or you get snooker.
You had to pay for that? Oh.
No, it was part of the regular TSN channel, because at the time they were filling in slots.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you don't have live, eventually TSN would start getting more and more live sports and stuff. They would be able to, because now TSN is owned by CTV as well for a lot of that stuff. And so when they do NFL, they'll do NFL on CTV, NFL on TSN, blah, blah, blah. You get that. So they got plenty of stuff to fill it in now. But they used to be like, we just need something. Strongman competition. Who wants to see the world's strongest man?
I like watching
1985.
those are fun.
Magnus for Magnuson.
He won them all.
That's right. Absolutely. That's what I mean. Like, I remember this stuff because it was on. It was there all the time.
Yep.
So real quick, DR says, did you guys chat about Upper Deck and the women's hockey? I did not, but I'm familiar with what you're talking about. Excited to grab some packs for the girls. I think that's good for the audience that it is. I think it's good for them that they're getting that in, because they got one of the women's professional leagues in there, which is good. And I think it's going to be interesting how they promote it, because Upper Deck obviously is happy to have whatever licenses it can get at this point. They've extended the hockey license, which is good. I think there's a market for it. I hope to God investors don't try to pump that. It's like, no, just let the collectors have it. Just let the collectors have it, please. Leave it alone and let them have it. Let them have their fun. Let them enjoy their cards. It's a good thing. I have absolutely no opposition to it whatsoever. I hope they promote the hell out of it. I hope the audience that gets it wants it and receives it, and they're able to open packs and have fun.
Good luck with that.
Well, I don't think their plan is to sell millions of them. That's not the point. The point is just to get it to an audience. Like, you get it to that demographic and let them have some cards that are for them. Let them enjoy it.
Yeah, well, it's the inertia of it all. Let it flow the way it's going to flow. Smart.
Months ago, I was hearing some rumors that some WNBA cards were starting to go through the roof.
Yeah, it was Prism. I think Prism was the one that was really going nuts for a while.
So it can turn into something. But I think for a newer, young girl who's looking for some role models, I hope they keep it cheap and available.
Yeah, well, I think the WNBA Prism, the problem with that one is that it was Prism. So basically, the investor flipper guys got in on that. It's like, I don't care what it is. If it's Prism, I'm buying it.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't from a passionate place of the WNBA, because the WNBA does not have more than a very specific core passionate fan base. I think this one, though, has a much better chance of being left alone to its own devices, because do they have an audience? I don't remember which one of. I think there were 2 professional women's leagues that are still kind of out there. I don't remember which license they got. But whichever one it was, I'm pretty sure it's still niche enough that they're probably going to keep the production runs pretty modest. But as long as the fans can get their hands on them, all the power to them.
Put a box away.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
The only time I watch women's hockey is when U.S. and Canada are playing.
But that's where a lot of the viewership for that comes in.
Yeah.
They'll try to use that as an argument, a justification. It's like, no, you don't understand. It's international hockey. You put Canada U.S. on there, they'll watch Canada U.S. Tiddlywinks championships. Like, it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference. But it just so happens, well, hockey is obviously very popular, but give them the international flavor, and now you're interested.
But Canada and the U.S. are the 2 best teams with the best players. So,
They are,
I mean, it is fun. It is good hockey to watch.
Yeah. Well, it's the best you're going to get at that level, especially. That's how you can tell it's closing time at the bar. Snooker would come on. Absolutely. John, happy holidays. Absolutely. I think the women's league folded. Okay, that makes sense. I was wondering because I remember there were 2 at one point, and I know they were like arguing with each other about players and stuff, and it's like, I don't think there's enough room for 2 of you. One of you is going to have to step aside just naturally, and let the better one win, I suppose.
It's not going to be a WNBA 2.
I don't think so. No. Not so
No.
much. Dave, I got a question for you that I think will play a little bit off of this into the thing. All right. I joked about the darts.
Mm-hmm.
What is the random stupid sport or vocation or whatever that you get on cards? Like if you can put this for Panini or for Upper Deck or for Tops or whatever, which I want the sport, whatever sport that is, and I want the brand that you decide to put into it, because I want to know, are you doing Prism? Are you doing Finest? Are you doing, something from Upper Deck? What do you want? Take a second to think about it. I actually want. This is just kind of a fun. It's more of a fun topic. If you need a second, take it. But I still stand by Prism Bowling. I stand by Prism Bowling.
I think
Prism mini golf.
Upper Deck monster truck.
Upper Deck monster trucks. Okay, just like you're talking flagship Upper Deck, or
No, you could do that, but you could do it in a way that, like, Hockey SPX, I think they did a couple of years ago when they had the pack, and then like you had the one pack of what was it, Exquisite or something else that's inside of that.
Dave, just a question for you. I can sort of hear you. Okay, I can hear what you're saying, but I got a question. Is there like something muffling your phone?
No.
Because it literally sounds like you're underwater when you back up. Like, it's not just quiet; it literally sounds muffled, and I don't know why.
Maybe Jock Cousteau's here. I don't know.
I have no idea. Like, I'm just curious, because every single time it would get super muffled, and I don't know why. And it turns out I have control now to be able to bump up somebody's mic, so I cranked hers up about as high as it could go. But anyway, but I think monster trucks could be fun. I think if you're going to do Upper Deck, because I think look, if you get F1, I'm not saying no to monster trucks. I'm sorry. I want my Grave Digger, I would say Tops, though. I want my Grave Digger Gold Refractor, bro. Grave Digger Gold Refractor.
When I think of Upper Deck, let's say 10 years ago, football-wise,
Okay.
a lot of booklets. You can imagine that when they're doing the freestyle or whatever, some cool picture that they took.
Yeah.
Then you can have, like, Dennis Anderson autograph it for Gravedigger, then his kids or whatever. Or you could have the piece of the tire, piece of the sheet metal, then plus the autograph on there.
Yeah.
I like the Upper Deck, even if it's like a box topper.
Now, here's the thing. We joke about it, but the truth is, the reason I wanted to ask this question is because no matter what it is, there's probably a way you could make it marketable and workable. You probably could. Like, because to your point, you could have piece of, event use tire. That's not a stretch. You can get your hands on that material and put it on a card, and there you go. You don't have to work. You could get an autograph from the driver of Gravedigger or Bigfoot or this, that, and the other thing. Totally, you could totally do that. You still have a limited audience, but it's like, here's the thing: it's not as stupid as some of the other stuff I've heard. Not even close.
Even if you just want to sell it at the event.
At the event.
I mean, you could make a killing at that there. I mean, you
I
have
agree
your
with
pit pass. You can go meet the guys, and well, hell, I want to get a card of them too. That'd be cool, or a box, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, if they're
Dave, your
scratching-
phone is legitimately possessed. You went from partially muffled to crystal super clear and loud. And it was mid-sentence. I don't know what is your phone possessed right now?
It could be. It's probably all the eBay searches.
Oh, he moved.
Like, is this like the antenna thing, the old rabbit ears? If you're in the
Big
wrong
Brother.
position, like the signal gets off. But I agree with you. But I do agree with you. I just thought it was weird how your volume suddenly went crystal clear and super loud. I was like, okay. So thank you for keeping us posted on the Santa Tracker. I like this one. Upper Deck Ice curling cards. That seems appropriate. I like the theme. I like that you went with the theme. You doubled up on the theme. I appreciate that, Josh. I appreciate that. Upper Deck cricket cards. No, do not encourage Don Bradman. Do not. Don't do it. Upper Deck rugby cards. If it's Aussie rules, we're talking. Yep. Australian football cards. Correct, sir. I'm with curling. 2018 top shine John Schuster. Team USA curling. There you go. Pickleball league, cornhole league cards. Upper Deck and corner the market on both. They might need all the licenses they can get. All right. So I like Dave's monster truck idea. I actually think there's some ways you can make this work. I actually kind of like that idea. So I'd co-sign on that. Yannick, Eric, or Bobby, do you have another alternative, weird, random sport that you would throw in? And do you have the manufacturer you would choose for said sport? Who wants to take a stab at this one?
Victory beach volleyball.
Victory
Game
beach
used
volleyball?
sand and crack, kind of, yeah, those kind of things.
That is an angle you could take on it, Bobby. An angle, yeah. Okay. Yannick or Eric, you want to take a shot at this?
I was gonna go with a 84 Donruss mini golf.
Okay, so you specifically want like a Topps Heritage style, like you want to bring back that design, and then go with
the polo shirt, the polyester pants, the whole 9 yard. Like when my dad was dad when I was a kid, that's what they looked like. These guys, like in the 70s.
How much mini golf were they playing?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Nick, this has
I have
only
no
led to more
idea,
questions. Like, I'm legitimately interested. Like, I feel like there's some follow up questions that we need to workshop this and discuss it further.
Racquetball, man.
I guess so. Okay.
Could they not do concerts? Could they not do current concerts that kind of are going around?
I'm sure you could. Yeah, you probably could.
Guitar pick, game.
Well, how about
parties.
like the way that what's his name, Carvin's doing his music cards and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was
something-
kind of going off of. It's like if all these concerts that go on in a year, you got product for the next year. Every year,
Yeah.
you got.
So here's the question though: would you do that as part of a card, or would you attach it to an NFT? Because what they did with some of those ideas is they attached it to an NFT, which then lets you watch some concert clips and highlights and things, and you could actually see, based on the possession of the NFT, you could actually watch parts of a concert or a song in a concert or something like that. You could do a lot of that.
I still live in the tangible world, so I can't really say that
Yeah.
NFTs are really anything for me. It's like another picture, as I see 50,000 a day, anyways. What's another one or two?
Yeah.
And
What
now
if you
if
put
they're
the QR code
exclusive-
on the card? You've got the card. The card, you have physical.
Well, we're
possession of
back
the
to
card.
tangible. Okay, so we got the
Yeah.
card.
No, but I'm saying you can have both associated to the same physical.
Both is cool.
Yeah.
One alone is not.
Yeah.
The other alone is fine.
Yeah, what I'm saying then is you could have a card that represents whatever concert or whatever. You get the image, whatever's going on, right up on the back, and then a QR code that is linked to the NFT, which then lets you
Yeah.
watch the clip.
Yippee.
Yeah. I think there's a way you can kind of play with that and have a little bit of both if you wanted to.
I think
So
that's a
that's
good idea, but I mean, all right.
I don't think we are the target people for NFTs anyway.
No.
No, well, Dave is hoarding CryptoPunks. He realized that it's like yet another thing. When the Josh Johnson NFT comes out,
We could make NFTs of Dave's though. I could see a market for that.
I feel like Dave was an NFT before NFTs were cool.
Yeah.
Can we fractionally share his NFT?
I think that's the only way we'd be able to afford it.
Yes.
You can have like a bald Dave, long hair Dave, beard all done.
That's what I'm trying to
Dave.
get at. Dave is literally the living Amish embodiment of the CryptoPunk for us. We've got the different Daves. It's too many Daves.
The nose ring Dave.
He might have whoop, there it is, Dave. Like it's all there. It's all there.
It's Superior Land.
Hula girl Dave.
What is that? That's Dave yelling. It's the Lake Superior. Oh my God, that's the most expensive one of all. Real quick, I'll catch a couple of comments here. My little girls play hockey at the pond down the street on Sunday mornings in the winter, and it'd be cool for her to see those types of cards. Yeah, that's why I'm being very specific here. I am 100% in favor of it as long as they are able to get this product, open this product, and enjoy this product. It is for them. Let them have it. Most of the time, I don't give a crap who gets it, but it's like literally it's for them. Just let them have it. Bass fishing cards in the 90s. Okay, there you go. Upper deck badminton cards. There you go. Beach soccer. Sand relics.
Hey.
Archery.
Fan relics. There we go.
Yeah, it's so popular. It's a weird reason it probably work. That's an idea. Where's my all-time favorite sports card related item from Bob? Dramatic pause. Lewis. Your sports card related item that you've received for Christmas. I've been very light on sports card related items that I've received for Christmas. I've gotten a box or two here and there, but not really a lot of stuff. Most of the time, it's you'd have to be very specific on what you wanted. But have you guys ever received any sports card or sports memorabilia related items for Christmas? Go ahead,
I
Yannick.
just did.
Oh, the Honus
look at
Wagner
you.
shirt. That's trimmed.
Oh, it comes with the Piedmont back.
Oh, the
too.
Piedmont back.
I like that. Okay, I
Piedmont
like that. I
back.
like that. I
My
like
wife, my beautiful wife, just gave me this for Christmas like an hour ago. She's like, "You need it now, so you can wear
Oh,
it."
perfect. Oh, yeah, right on. That's a good one.
So
Love it.
there you go.
that. Thematically, well,
PSA
well,
on the shoulder? No?
No,
Alright.
it's raw, untrimmed.
There you go. All right, fair enough. I think that's a solid choice, Yannick. I think that's a solid choice. Okay,
Yeah.
so Eric or Bobby?
Bobby, you want to go?
No, I got nothing related. They can't buy anything for me. I'm too hard to buy for. I got a vacuum seal, one of those vacuum sealer bag things that our last one broke, so we got one. That's my biggest thing, so I can vacuum seal all my cards.
Something.
There you go.
It's related.
Yep. All right, Eric, what do you got?
Relative.
1986. Argentina just won the World Cup. Diego Maradona is the star of the planet, and I wanted anything to do with Argentina and Maradona. And the last present I opened, because my parents planned it that way, I opened it up. I'm already disappointed that I didn't get what I wanted, and open it up, and there's my Maradona jersey.
Nice.
Oh, there you
All
go.
right.
Wow.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Absolutely
That's what-
lost my mind.
He just passed away a couple
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, a couple of years last year.
I think that's fair. Mr. Dave Archer, what say you?
Probably that helmet, Vinny. and his
Well,
wife.
that's got the recency as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brodur signed mini-ish helmet or medium-sized helmet. That thing is fat enough. So that trumps all the sets my mom had picked up over the years of the top stuff, even though it can be in a PSA, KSA, Gem 11 and a half, a hefty price, but
Mhm.
just that alone, holy Christ, that's nothing I was expecting at all.
Yep.
Not even on the radar.
Yep. I will say Vinny does put a lot of very clear effort and thought into the gifts and everything.
Oh
And
my
Vinny,
God,
if you
yeah.
ever decided to, just send cash, bro. Just cash. It's cool. Like it's cool. I'm very appreciative of cash. Just saying. You can put Fanatics to like letterhead on it if you really want to sell it, but like just like it's cash, straight cash, homie. We're good. We're good.
Although I did buy I bought myself some things for Christmas, so to speak.
All right.
So just some buys that I purchased on eBay. I kind of just said, okay, I'll spend a few $100 on myself, and which I did. I showed my pickups on Facebook, and I don't know if I posted it on Instagram.
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, it was just a bunch of Leaf stuff from the 80s, but actually it was from Rapper Redemptions, most of the stuff from 86 and 85s and what have you. So I thought that was pretty cool, 80s stuff. I don't usually do 80s much, but these were kind of neat.
You made a display case.
Yes, yeah. I have it in my quad. Yeah,
Yeah, because he's got his Leafs, like your Leafs room there that you fill it with various memorabilia things, and yeah, it would definitely fit in with that for sure.
Oh,
I like this I like this nickname, Wrestling Pokeroo.
Pokeroo. That was from Polka Dot Door.
Yeah, it was Polka Dot Door. That's a solid reference right there, and it's got the Pokeroo on the icon. Well played.
This is a Canadian thing.
No way.
Very much so.
No,
very much.
Oh, is it?
I'm pretty sure Polka Dot Door didn't cross over. Or if
No
it did,
idea
it would
what
be
that
very
is.
Door, the Polka Dot
It might be
Door.
like in border towns.
Let's
Maybe
go.
border
Dave, do you ever
towns who
see
got the
this?
signal.
Do you have any idea what they're talking about?
Not a clue.
No. This is
Okay.
a Canadian nonsense.
It's like Mr. Kangaroo, Captain Kangaroo.
Captain, okay?
ish.
He had the rank of captain, not Mister. Be respectful.
I was given the sir before he was the sir.
Mhm.
But
Listen,
yeah,
Private
it's been a while.
Kangaroo can step down. Pokeroo will handle this. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
It was a Sesame Street-ish kind of Mr. Dress Up kind of ish, or Mr.
There was I think it was a combination of a couple of things, but the whole thing with the Pokeroo was that it was for kids, but it was like a design thing where like no one would catch the Pokeroo except one person would see them, and then the joke was that it's like the Pokeroo is here. It's like, what are you talking about? And by the time they turned, the Pokeroo would be gone.
He'd be
And it was
hopping
always
about and go, Pokeroo, Pokeroo.
Yeah, basically just to annoy. Yeah, that's how you annoy children in the 80s.
I remember because I used to put it on for my sister. She's 10 years younger than I am. That's why I know it. Otherwise, I would have never watched it.
Yep.
Dave,
Yeah,
this
but
is
that's wrong.
nonsense, right?
I
This is just pure Canadian nonsense.
Oh yes, because the American kid show was so refined. Is this really the hill you want to, Eric? I would just stop now while you're way behind. You don't even know how far behind you are. Moving on. Who got the news of Mick Foley appearing on a card in '85 Topps WWF many years before he rose to fame in WWF? I'd be curious about that. Was it related maybe to Jimmy Snuka? Because I know he attended the Jimmy Snuka dive, so I'm wondering if maybe he got on a card. Maybe that would be how. I'd be curious some more details on this. I have not.
Probably.
Yeah, that'd be cool if he's
That'd
in
be
the
my guess.
background.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. That's maybe a cameo in the background.
Cameo,
that'd be
yeah,
awesome.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
A la Menendez brothers.
Something like that, yeah.
What's
a little
up,
bit
Apples?
less infamous, but yes.
Oh.
Yeah, so name here says, yeah. How about exquisite disc golf? You're going straight to exquisite, Andy.
Oh, and disc golf. I like it.
I like that. Eric told him to come over. Yeah, fair enough. A multi-sport set of only coaches and managers. I'll take the Bill Belichick RPA. Sports-related item for Christmas '92, Air Jordans. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, because it was sports-related, so it left the door open for jerseys and a variety of different stuff. Yeah, for sure. Jerseys, season tickets, etc. Yep, absolutely, Bob. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite sports-related item for Christmas? Winnipeg Jets, Dave Christian jersey. That my
Oh,
parents
love
ordered from
Dave
the
Christian.
team. It was made by the
Jeez.
team, shipped before names were on jerseys, a 1 of 1. Cool. Very nice. Yeah, so
Dave
he ordered it from the
Christian.
team. He had to custom order it because that's before you were having the custom jerseys nearly as prevalent. It's pretty
Dave
good.
Christian on the '80 Olympic gold medal team. His family had Christian hockey sticks, and he played for the Bruins in the '90s. So
Gotcha.
love Dave Christian.
Yep. And Paul here. Good God, Eric, the polka dot door. Absolutely.
Mm.
Hi, all. I'm ghosting my mother-in-law who's in the other room to watch this. You're welcome. JJ Bama, you have made the right decision. He's getting pinned on a card. Foley, okay. In ring, getting pinned by Santana, card number 52. Okay, so he's actually in the card. Okay.
Wow.
I'm surprised I'm surprised he had any WWF connection in '85.
Yeah,
That seems a
that's-
little early for him, but
That's
okay.
that is shocking.
Yeah. Favorite sports-related item for Christmas? A replica LA Kings Wayne Gretzky jersey. Very fair. Huge Gretzky fan as a kid and followed him from Oilers to the Kings. I think that's a good, solid choice. I think
That would
it's
have
a
been
solid
awesome.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think anything where it's like a jersey and stuff like that, I think that's about right. I think that seems about the way. That's definitely a way of doing it. I like this comment for the various levels of irony if you read between the lines. Looks and sounds like some Canadian mumbo jumbo. Bob Lewis. Bob Lewis is our pokeroo. That's all I'll say to those on the Canadian side of the board who understand what I'm getting at. Bob Lewis is our pokeroo.
If you want to look at
Moving
the
on.
best Canadian cartoon was Rocket Robin Hood. Check
Oh
it
my
out
God, I
sometime.
do remember what you're talking about. Yeah,
You
yeah.
guys are just making stuff up.
Oh, that was
I
It was
wish he was making stuff up. It would make me happy if he was making stuff. But I know exactly what he's talking
a
about.
futuristic Robin Hood cartoon. It was amazing, and it was Canadian made, which was very interesting.
It would have had to be Canadian made. It's Rockin' Robin. There's no way it could not have been Canadian made.
But it was back in the early '70s. I was watching it, so
Yeah, but it was in syndication for a very long time. Bob.
it was. Oh yeah.
That's what I mean. Like that. The reason why I can say, not my era, but it was in syndication for a very long time. Like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He also appears in the '87 set as a backbreaker by Hercules on card 32. Oh my goodness, Foley got in a lot of cameos in
This
those
is
'80s.
surprising. I had
That's
no
kind of
idea.
interesting. I had not heard of that at all, but thank you, Wrestling Pokeroo. See, Pokeroo has spoken.
Yep.
Rocket Robin Hood is classic. You see, Paul will tell you, man. Paul will tell you. Why don't you just ask?
That was funky. That's some cool
It
60s
was very
colors
different.
and-
It was very different. It was very much of its era. I agree with that.
Oh yeah.
I agree with that. Okay, so gentlemen, I have caught up on the comments, which is a beautiful thing. So, question. From here on in, it's open. It's just, we've got a little bit of time left before I will put a stop to it. Anything anybody else want to touch on collection-wise or random nonsense-wise? 70s, 80s cartoons. I really don't care. Whatever you want.
I got a question out there.
Go ahead.
So for Christmas, is it turkey, duck, ham, or what is it? What's your dinner traditional?
That's a fair one. That's a fair one. Dave, I want you to answer this question, but not first. Not first, because Dave will get into a very intricate explanation. So here's what I propose. Here's what I suggest. So in order, I'm going to get a refill on this. Mr. Yannick first, then Mr. Eric. Bobby, you take a stab at it. Dave, you're last. You can have your moment, but you're last. All right, Yannick, you first.
Turkey, hands down. Turkey stuffing.
Okay, keep going. Yep.
The cranberries we'll have tomorrow too. The cispot we called it. So basically, it's like layers of, potatoes, carrots.
Scallops.
Yeah, exactly. The meat pie, tortilla. That's that's
Tortilla.
that's the big one here.
That's a French thing. That's
yeah.
a mixture of
It's like a
lamb.
meat pie with potatoes and wild meat ish, kind of like making a that's some depends on where you're from. The recipe can change a little. So
cloves in there, and it's really kind of interesting.
it's not my favorite thing, but
Oh, it's my
it's
favorite.
always
Yeah,
there.
I
Yeah,
love it.
no. And there's always like stews and stuff. Like I mean, there's so much food and so much like I said, my dad is having us over tomorrow, and he's making the traditional turkey stuffing, taters, cranberry sauce, everything. So
I know Carlos says rice with turkey is like, really? Okay.
well, there you go. So yeah, that's about it. And dessert, my wife bakes, so she did baking goods all day. I got stuff for probably
Like what? Come on.
the next
Give it up.
week. Oh, peanut brittles. She makes pecan roasted, brown sugar, rosemary on them.
Wow.
All kinds of like fudges, chocolates, pies. Those little butter tarts. That's
Oh.
always a good one.
I have a hard time with those.
So anyway, yeah. Look, I'm getting fatter as I'm talking right now.
Okay, Eric, you're up. Go ahead.
Well, this is my 47th Christmas, and this would be the very first time we're having a turkey dinner. Because for
Wow.
46 previous ones, it was roast beef and cooking a roast beef and a ham and cutting it up into sandwiches. And it just right out of the oven, that's what my family's done. Love it. Look forward to it. With plenty of pies and cookies and all that, garbage stuff for you that's so good and delicious. But for whatever reason, my wife and mother decided that we are going to have kind of a Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow. So for the first time in my life, I'm not having a hot roast beef out of the oven and making sandwiches out of it. So should be interesting.
You'll be fine.
I think I'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, I like turkey. So
Text me if you got questions.
okay, how do I eat this?
Things do confuse you, so it is important to have a phone and friend. I think that's important.
Well, I'm not very smart, Carlos.
We've
We know
established this. We're very clear on this issue.
You know, whatever,
Again, we have consensus. We do.
yes, I mean, whatever help I can get, I appreciate.
I think that's important. I think it's important. So I think Yannick's solid. I think Eric was going in. So tell you what, Bobby, do you want to go before Dave? Because it might take a couple of minutes to parse out what Dave's talking about.
I'll ramble in it quick. Yeah, turkey, mashed potato, corn, turnip, which I hate,
Okay.
but everybody likes it. Dessert. Traditionally, we used to have pumpkin pie, but my mom's no longer around, so she used to always make it. So my sister sometimes attempts that, but now we're going to this cheesecake. However, I made a Black Forest cake today.
Okay.
Looks
Is that the image you
amazing.
sent over?
It's the image I sent over. I made that today from kind of scratch.
Hold on. I will see if I can share. Set it.
Does everybody know what a Black Forest cake is?
I believe so.
Not everybody does. I'm just saying.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. Give me a second. I have to switch it out to a different window. There you go.
Oh, that looks delicious.
Oh.
So it's chocolate cake, and then I take some of the cherry pie filling, and I put a little bit of, and it's whipped cream in between layers, 3 layers, and a little bit of chocolate shavings on the outside, and cherries on top.
There
That's
you
it.
go. There you go.
It's a killer. I could eat that whole thing with a big glass of milk, and
Ooh.
I have a savory. I'm my wife is savory. I'm the sweet one, so there you go.
There you go.
Okay, Dave, it's all you.
Mr. Dave Archer, as you speak, I will go through comments. Please, you have the floor.
Years ago, it would be the same thing. It'd be turkey for Thanksgiving, ham for Christmas. Now it's like fajitas, one of the two. I love fajitas. The cheapness in me, but I love that it's chicken picante ramen noodles, but you make them dry. So it's just basically a spaghetti-ish thing with just the seasoning on top. I think what else?
Cranberry
My mom
crema or something? No.
Hmm?
Is there a cranberry crema on top or something?
No, it's just again you cook ramen noodles, drain out the water, and then you put the seasoning on top, mix it up, and it's basically like
Turkey.
it's
Yeah.
not butter noodles, but I mean just spaghetti noodles with something on top.
I love noodles, anyways. Any kind of noodles.
Yeah, that's what I'm in, and that's
So there's no tradition, or is this what you just do yourself?
you try to make something different because I don't like looking for a ham, and ham I love, but at the same time I'd rather just get like the slice stuff, get to slice it up and I'll finger food it with a piece of cheese or crackers. I like doing that.
Oh, okay.
And turkey, I'm more for the turkey sandwiches afterwards.
I make a
want-
turkey pot pie usually after, and I love that
Or-
too.
That would be an option too, but I usually hammer through that. The sandwich is so quick that
Mm.
there's no chance. My
True.
mom makes blueberry dessert. It's with, I want to say, I don't know if it's Cool Whip or like the marshmallow cream. And then on the top and the bottom, it's like the graham cracker crumbles. And then you have like blueberry pie filling in there. And
I
it's
thought it'd be appropriate just to randomly have Pokeroo show up.
Yes.
serious.
I was appreciating your story, Dave. At the same time that I'm listening to your story in one ear. On the other hand, I got a wild Carlos Senior in the background, so I got the dark shadow back there. That's Carlos Senior. Oh, he's making his way this way.
He's coming this way. We finally
You
get to
want to say
nice.
you want to say hi to the people?
Make yourself
What
big.
did
He say he's a lie.
Correct. That's
we
right.
know that.
Yeah. So this is Carlos Senior. He's here just causing trouble. It's doing his usual thing. So here, hold on. I'll adjust it a little bit up. So say hi to the adoring public. There are 36 people who have nothing better to do with their lives.
Like every day.
Not counting the people on the screen who don't count necessarily towards that.
Merry
So
Christmas, sir.
Absolutely. So they say
Merry
Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
So Eric here, he obsessively stalks a hockey player. He thinks hockey's real, which is really unfortunate. It's very sad. We don't have the heart to tell him.
That is just your imagination, my friend.
Yeah, it's not a real
Doesn't
thing.
exist.
No, not at all. Not at all. No.
Yannick and I do the motorcycles.
Yeah. Well, he can't really hear you. Only in the headphone.
You can translate.
Yeah. So he's saying, so these guys are the two motorcycle guys. So these guys, so Yannick here was in the military and he says motorcycle. Bobby over here used to do motorcycle. I explained him the story of your Honda Gold Wing, some of the other motorcycles.
Yeah.
And I used to take them apart and put them together. So that was kind of your deal. And then now your motorcycle sits in my parking lot.
It's the best thing ever. You got one house and a free parking somewhere else.
Yes.
Nice.
Good deal.
He doesn't charge.
Why? What's the point? I'm not using it for anything. I don't care.
True enough.
Yeah. It's one of those things. But yeah. No, thanks for popping in. Anything else you want to say to the people? It's your last
No,
shot.
just Feliz Navidad, everybody.
Feliz
Right.
Navidad.
Feliz
I hope
Navidad.
next year we can have no smartphone, no smart house, no smart car, a little bit more people. Because they bunch
Oh,
of stupid.
this crew is not what you want to be starting with that. Oh my God.
And no
Dear
smart
Heavenly
asses.
Lord.
I'm on board with that.
Have a good day, guys.
Absolutely.
You too, sir.
Thanks.
Thanks very much. So there you go. Carlos Senior cameo, you got it.
Awesome.
I wasn't guaranteeing it. I said there was a possibility that you get a Carlos Senior cameo. You got one.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
It is.
I heard him coming down on the little electric chair thing on the thing, and I was like,
Carlos, how far away? Like, what's the commute between the two? Where you're at?
oh, like several blocks.
Oh, okay.
It's like at least 10, 15 minutes walking. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
It's crazy. So what happens? Long story. I'll give you the short version. So what happened is this is my childhood house for the majority. Basically, from the time I was 9 years old. So what happened is they bought the place around '92, and then been here since. But my room is just upstairs, about here. It's been converted to my younger brother's office. That's where he hangs out. He's probably hanging out there right now. And basically the way it goes. So the parents are here. My younger brother's here. And the thing is that when I was going to go buy a place, I had an apartment when I used to work at the call center. So I had that. And then I only did that maybe for about a year and a half, but I had been saving up the money in the meantime. So the advantage of not doing much a lot of the time is that you're stashing away cash. So I was like, okay, I can probably afford to do something. I was working at the bank at the time, so I could get an advantageous rate on the mortgage. So I said, okay, if I can get a good deal, I knew somebody, an old high school friend, who was a real estate agent. So I said, look, this is what I'm looking for. I'll give you an example of what I'm thinking. One of the condos that was on the blocks, a couple blocks down, went up for sale and went away. But I said, conceptually, this is it. So I gave her that example. It had already sold. It ended up coming back in the market, and that's the one that I bought 7 years ago. So it's literally on the same street that I grew up in. I have been in this neighborhood for over 30 years. I know it like the back of my hand, all of it. So I'm actually physically closer to the grocery store than they are. So they got to hop in the car to go to it. I can walk. I can casually stroll over to it.
Is your brother going to come on for a cameo appearance in the Ninja gear?
I don't know. I listen. We already over delivered. I didn't promise you didn't get the one cameo appearance. So it's possible. I could
I
try.
feel like that would cost. I would feel like that would cost a pretty.
Well, I feel like it's the least he can do, given that, frankly, it should have been I should have been commandeering his room is what I should have been doing this live stream from. Honestly. Yeah, I was nice enough to do it in the living room. The good news is that I have a second screen, which I'm actually very thrilled about. I was like, actually, that makes my life easier.
Just like live reaction of the ninja and just his own world.
Yeah, well, I think the tricky part would be to get him to actually wear the ninja costume.
Oh, that wasn't a problem before, but maybe you can give us tips on.
No,
story.
before he would do that of his own volition. I didn't have to tell him. It's like, my question was, why are you in the ninja costume? That'd be my question. It's like, and he's like, why not? And I'm like, whatever. Okay, sure, yeah.
I never really did get it, but I went with it.
I think about it as being really good practice for the future, because now, like, I don't even question Bob. He's the thing that happens. So it's like, do I question why Bob is Bob? I do not. I simply accept it. I simply accept it as something that happens.
We have some liquor bottle storage questions for your brother. Maybe you can come on.
There you go. I'll ping him and see if he's willing to make a cameo appearance. Is my negotiated more time on the internet?
With the ninja, though. It's got to be the ninja outfit.
Exactly. Well,
The
then,
white-
then
the
you've
white
got
one,
almost
that
no
was
chance.
cool.
Then you've got almost no shot.
He's still got it upstairs. You know he does.
Oh, that isn't question. He's got multiple versions. He's got multiple versions of that ninja outfit. I think the odds of him wearing it and coming down here is like 0%, but he's
Well,
definitely.
I think you can get fucking 50s to $100 in super chats just for him to. Pop up.
that would be a thing. Yeah, exactly.
I want Dave to start wearing a ninja outfit on Tuesdays.
Oh,
It might help your demographic, Dave. The cosplay might work for you.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
the
So
Amish ninja.
Yeah.
like just stack gimmicks on top of each other. The Amish Ninja Cowboy.
Oh yeah.
Whoa! We just keep
NFT.
stacking. Yeah, we just keep stacking on top. So, Josh, to answer your question, no, really. The only reason the hard cutoff is because they like opening presents around midnight. So I'm accommodating that. And literally that is going to happen a couple of feet over. So when they're ready for it, I'll
And
accommodate.
it's Christmas.
I don't care. Not even a little bit. Wrestling Pokeroo, Cedar, the legend. Yep, you're right. Lob Lewis, Pittsburgh in the house. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, what up, John? Merry Christmas, buddy.
No doubt, no doubt. But yes. So Bob, actually, you came in, I think, partway. I think you came in partway through Dave's explanation of the eating thing. Dave, did you get through the whole meal, or did you get through like the first course?
He branched off.
We're making noodles.
Yeah,
We're
I know
making-
Carlos Senior's
we're
very
making
distracted.
sandwiches.
I've lived this my entire life. I understand.
Everything else is sort of like a hodgepodge, just whatever you haven't had for a while that you feel like having. Like we make Polish at the grocery store I work at. We'll grab a pack of those, or like potato sausage. And then if I do potato sausage, I'll do scalloped potatoes with it, just because you have to have something to soak up not make the potato sausage so dry. You need something to moisten it up a bit. But yeah, just that's just different. You don't. I get where people like that tradition, but in the same vein, if you don't like stuffing, or if you don't like cranberry sauce, or sweet potatoes, or corn, mixed vegetables, whatever the case may be, why do you go through all the work to make it when you don't want to eat it? I don't know.
No, you wouldn't.
Because it's tradition.
Well, I guess it depends on your situation, right? Like my over here, we kept it pretty basic. They had like the butterball turkey thing. So Carlos Senior's the cook around here, so he makes whatever we're eating is whatever he's cooking. So
And you have rice instead of mashed potatoes, right?
yeah, exactly. It was like, but it's rice with what was it?
Piri piri. No.
He basically mixed into the rice. He mixed something into the rice. It wasn't just straight rice. He put something into it. I completely forgot what it was.
Pilaf.
Tells you how much I pay attention to food. I just eat it. I don't care. But we had the cranberry sauce and stuff as well. But I don't use it. I don't give a crap. But like I said, it's like, so that's why I say, like, the holiday meals for me is like, yeah, put it in the plate. I don't care. Just get it over with.
You don't eat.
No, I eat it.
You don't
but then
sleep?
but basically, I eat it in record time. I empty the plate. I rinse the dish, and I move on with my day.
Eating's a necessity.
I'm pretty
remember.
sure I just saw a ninja behind you.
Yeah, it could be. Oh, there you are. All right, you wanna say something? You wanna say hey? They kind of wanted you in the ninja costume, but they're gonna have to deal with your scruffiness.
Yeah.
Everybody was
They
kung
kind of
fu
spread out
fighting.
Okay, so here you got Bobby here, you got Yannick over
I
here.
remember seeing Bobby. I've seen Bobby on there.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
Bobby?
And then you got Pokeroo here, Bob Lewis. But you have to put like a dramatic pause in the middle of his name. That might come
I
up
already
in.
have enough people I refer to as the Pokeroos.
No, but here's the thing. You got to remember. The important thing is the gap in the name of Bob, because what's going to happen is in my year-end video, I might have a reference to Bob Lewis somewhere in there. Just saying hypothetically, no spoilers. Here's a guy who's Amish, and he might be a ninja cowboy soon. So that might be his new shtick. He might combine like 3 gimmicks simultaneously.
There's just such a large name thing under his name. With this
No,
one.
his name is basically every hashtag he could combine into one.
It's like, his eyesight is pretty good, but it's just
Yeah.
that's just asking me to be a bit much.
Hit the mouth.
Tiny on the
Yeah,
screen here.
and this one here is a gentleman. Right now he's on parole from the soon-to-be back to prison. So he's basically in the Philippines in a rolling truck. That's his deal.
There's many PFAs.
Haven't caught me yet.
Yep, I think it's valid. So anything you want? Any profound statements you want to say to the people? You want to wish them a Merry Christmas? You want to wish them a Feliz Navidad? You want to curse their names? What would you like to do?
The only person here that needs to be cursed is maybe you, man. You come over here, you come over to my
Whoa.
house, and then
You don't have a
Come over
house.
here.
You live here rent free. You own nothing.
This is my house.
Well, what's it like to have
We
Carlos's
wanna-
room as your office?
I don't know.
You
wanna-
lord that over him?
You just show up and drink all my beer.
Yes.
Oh,
So really, I own this house.
And then they bring you over here to drink a beer.
Brotherly
Yes.
love.
So really, I own this house. Is what you're trying to sell.
This is a terrible arrangement on my part.
I was gonna say you've made a terrible deal. You've made a horrific mistake.
I think
want-
that's
we-
pretty much the penance. It's like,
we want a movie review of Black Widow.
Like, you have to put up with this guy's shit on a constant basis.
I couldn't find that.
And they'll voluntarily bring you here.
Yeah.
And then you ask me to buy you stuff.
Can we
because
do
you
this
only
in
enter the
Spanish?
shops yourself.
Well, he can't really
cool.
speak Spanish. He can understand Spanish, but not speak it.
how does that work?
Yeah, pretty much.
I never understood
So
that.
most of it is like,
It's actually really
everything
easy.
is like,
You grow up hearing enough of it to be able to understand it, but not necessarily speak it. If you don't speak it, I'm older, so I at least spoke a little bit of Spanish prior to being predominantly English.
It doesn't hurt that in this area, it's like, were there any really Spanish people other than his family? Maybe like one thing in the whole neighborhood. More Polish.
You guys were instant friends.
So if anything,
I have a question.
Stuff.
All right, go
I
ahead,
have
Yannick.
I have a question for you, brother. How is it to be Carlos's younger brother?
I feel like that's been covered with a lot of this discussion up until this
It
point.
is. It is.
So Yannick's question is, what's it like being my younger brother? What's it like being a secondary Carlos? You're Roberto Carlos, not like a real Carlos, like a half fake demi Carlos.
You mean putting up with this stuff constantly? Terrible, horrible, very bad deal. Can't say approve.
I'm really sympathetic. I feel terrible for you.
Is you not gonna stop you?
No,
At least
I don't.
you
Not
feel
at all.
bad about
No. We've established this. Like,
At least,
I feel like everything else is
consistent
covered. That,
about
yeah.
this, as long as we're consistent about this.
Yeah. Good. And do you want to wish anybody Merry Christmas?
Well, we got lost track of algorithm. In that case, for everyone that is there, Merry Christmas. In case I'm not around for the next one, which is probably going to be the case, Happy New Year, etc., etc. And someone put a stop to this man. Because clearly I've done
That's
a
way.
terrible
That's
job
way
at it.
too late. You
I've done
missed
a
your chance.
Same to you.
You had your chance.
Or just hang her on.
I admit my faults. If that was part of the test, I have done it. A bodged job.
I don't know how he's done it, to be honest. I was with Carlos for 4 days and developed a drinking problem afterwards. I don't know how his brother's still alive.
Liquor store. Yes, we know.
This will be a lot easier. Normally I'd be able to watch this. and
He's the
listen to
enabler, I think.
purpose. If I did this, then it would be bogging down the stream there. It's like, I can't even watch at this point to hear what they're actually saying.
Terrible. Terrible. I feel so. I've single tear.
You guys should do a show together again.
I know,
The
right?
experience.
All right, enough of you. I've had enough of you now. Moving on.
Please don't come on.
I gave him plenty of airtime. Did I not give quite an abundance of airtime? I gave lots. I feel I was exceedingly generous. For goodness sake. All right. Real quick. But yeah, that's the reason why. So that, in a nutshell, is the reason why in the Alcazar household there are no shrinking violets. You better be able to throw barbs because everybody can throw barbs. That's why I laugh when a lot of the content creators are like, guys, you don't even know how to deal with trolling. How about live in a house of trolls? All right.
Hardly any oxygen left in the house. Come on.
It's like you if you rise to the top of the game, is because iron sharpens iron, my friends. Iron sharpens iron. You learn how to do it properly. Mm-hmm. Yep. But it happens. It is what it is. But there you go. So you got not one but two Carloses. One is a demi Carlos, like a fake Carlos. But it's an attempt.
It's like the witch version of Carlos.
Yeah. It's like the Chinese knockoff. Yeah. It falls apart, disintegrates, low quality materials. Terrible.
Shrinks after one wash.
Yeah. I did find your question adorable though, Yannick. It's like, what's it like? It's like, how do you think?
See where he goes with it.
Yeah, I think it was. I like that you posed the question. I was trying not to cackle the second you asked it. I was like, oh, my poor Yannick. No.
If you only knew.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like all the things he was saying are true. It's like I come here, I drink his beer, I do what I wish, I do what I please. It's like, so I was like, so you're saying this is my house too? It's like, I guess I do what I wish.
Does your brother come to your house anytime?
No,
Never?
no, not unless he's carrying my beer in.
Oh. Yeah, well,
Carlos
If I
doesn't
need
know where he
something
lives.
to be done, we have a pecking order around here. We have a
I
pecking
got it.
order.
so it seems.
Yep. So real quick here, Merry Christmas, Bob. No White Christmas for us. There you go. Perfect. Any HGA talk tonight? If there's something specifically HGA you want to talk about, I am never Never above some HGA slander. I do love me some HGA slander.
I got an H out, but I didn't get the GA in.
That's right. Yep, domestics, that's right. Carlos's brother looks like he has a gun in his back pocket. He wishes. The thing is, if he had one, he'd probably miss. Anyway, so 40 minutes behind, I'd be in for porn cards. That's kind of little hanging fruit, though. That's not really that fun.
That's
Got to get a little more creative with it.
So I think I told you guys. First of all, that's a real thing.
Which
and-
part?
Porn cards?
Yes.
Of course, of course,
yeah.
it's a real thing. Yes,
There's
I know
no
that.
game used clothing.
Yeah,
I don't know,
upper deck isn't
but-
the one behind it, but yes, it does
but-
exist.
Okay, so listen.
So Eric shops for porn cards. Go on.
I maybe I've told you guys.
He's a
this
super
already.
collector. I got it. Move
So
on.
The show in Toronto ends.
I have a friend.
And then you go to the other show.
I have a friend.
and I am helping my buddy Corey, clean up his booth and bring it, hike out the stuff to the car. This guy comes by and throws a box of cards at Corey and a box of cards at me, and walks away laughing his rear end off. And these are totally sealed, cellophane around the box. I'm like, what is this? Turn it over. It's a whole box of those. It's still in my closet. I haven't touched it. I don't know what to do with it.
Make a video breaking the cards.
There you go. You're gonna have to basically block the video in most areas, but yes, you could do that.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on one second here. I just want to check something. So first, this one, John, is just a question for you, Bob. He's just asking what's up with Stove. Have you been in touch with him recently? What's going on with Stove these days?
Strangely enough, I was in Wisconsin last week for work. He drove up. I was in Green Bay area. He drove up to Milwaukee, like an hour and 50 minutes. I drove south 5 minutes, and we met at a bar dive restaurant called the Fat Seagull in Manitowoc.
Okay.
Which is where that Netflix show Making a Murderer was. That whole thing. That was.
Were you in a training seminar with Stove?
No. We on our own time, pure social engagement. Yes. Just the opportunity of being out that way. He wasn't gonna let miss the opportunity. So it was fun to catch up. He's doing okay, John. Yeah. He's got 2 young kids as well. He's moving from Milwaukee back to Chicago area for job stuff. So
Okay.
there's a lot of stuff going on. We were talking, we'd like to get the podcast back going to some extent, maybe just once a month, but when the time is right, you know what I mean? That's all. But just fun to bat ideas around. We're just sort of on the same wavelength with our humor. So it was good time. Met up with Scrawny Tradition too, who's more in the Green Bay area. Went and saw the Hall of Fame at Lambeau Field. It was pretty unbelievable, like the Midwest like niceties. I mean, just the pleasantries of the Midwestern like vibe. I mean, short story, the guy where I was working at my company, the office leader there so happens to be a security guard for the Green Bay Packers, works at Lambeau Field. Got me a free ticket to go there, but I had to pick him up at his house, and his wife also like baked me like little cookie treats in a Ziploc bag and handed them to me for my trip to the Hall of Fame. Here's a little homemade snack to go with you. So just that kind of those little customs from that area is pretty cool. I mean, but it's literally like stadium, Lambeau Field parking lot, and then across the street it's houses, it's neighborhood, yard, fences. So pretty unique situation. I've just been kind of going down that rabbit hole a little bit of the history of how they shouldn't exist today. You know what I mean? But they do, and the reasons why are pretty incredible. So that was cool.
There you go. Fair enough. Real quick here, I want to just see. The Global Sports Card Investor says, "What are your thoughts on my question above?" Which question?
Above. Go up to the top there.
No, but the thing is, the last couple of comments were about domestics. Carlos' brother looks like, and I couldn't
That's
find
the
a
one.
question.
That's not a question. Yeah, I think
No, but that's what I
it's
mean. I
a
couldn't
question.
find a question.
There's no question.
Yeah, I scrolled back a ways. It's like, if there's a specific question, if you have a question, maybe retype it because I didn't catch it because I scrolled through and I couldn't find anything.
Oh.
Rick Vintage Oddball Cards, happy holidays to you as well. Absolutely. Thank you, Rick.
Rick.
For popping in. For the most part. We still got a little bit of time here, but I'll start winding her down shortly. But I do want to thank everybody for hanging out. Hopefully, we've been at least entertaining for you. Listen, you got Carlos Senior and you got Demi Carlos. You got that, and now I understand what the Hockey Oracle deals with background individuals. This is what I'm trying to work through. These are the conditions I'm working under. And Carlos Senior's over here eating dessert, and he's having the time of his life. He's having a great moment. Like he's good to go.
What's for dessert?
What do you got there? What do you have?
This one is just coffee and bread, Christmas bread.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It looked like dessert from a distance. It's coffee and Christmas bread. So he's got some of the...
Well, that's kind of dessert.
Yeah,
Right.
it is. Yeah, so coffee in it. So he's good. He's good.
I like Christmas cake.
Boza
Bread.
Tundra of Lambeau Field. Correct, sir. And actually, the Packers are playing on Christmas. So it's part of the doubleheader, which is a nice little bonus, to be honest. I was like, oh, Christmas Day. That's great. Sounds awesome. Homemade snacks are always appreciated. Good grief, you're not kidding about the hashtags. Yeah. So he's finally read through Dave's thing. Dave.
And do you guys do fantasy football?
I did 1 year. It was fun to do, but it's one of those things. I'm not into it enough. It kind of re-emphasized for me that like I don't watch. I watch the game, but I watch it too casually to be able to draft well beyond the
This
obvious.
is typically the week if you win,
Yeah.
you go to the finals. So
Big week.
CFL. Yeah, we do it.
Okay, actually, let me ask you this: how much did it change to had another week, a 17th week this year? Was it the first year?
It's the first time they've had the 17th game.
Yeah.
Just it literally just adds another another week. COVID has made it the most interesting because you can have somebody that's you're counting on, you're banking on, and then he has a test. Zach Banner, a lineman for the Steelers, has a radio show, and he was talking a little bit about these tracers that they have. Like they literally wear them, they turn them in every day. So when there's a case that comes up, they're checking these tracers, and if you came within 6 foot of that guy, you're flagged. So
You're flashing.
yep. So it's pretty big brother stuff.
Wow.
It's,
Yeah, I guess.
right. So that's how when you see, you hear of like, oh, there was a case of Kansas City, and then the next day it's like there's 8 other people. So it just happens that quick after 24 hours. When they download upload the information, everybody that guy was replaced with. So they carry it around everywhere.
IL COVID.
Yeah, I think to be honest, Yannick, the COVID thing has been a bigger factor than the 17th week, because I think if they were just allowed to do the 17th week, you can work an additional bye week in and just adjust accordingly. And yeah, scheduling wise, you could figure it out pretty easily. It's additional money for them, like they'll be fine. But the COVID thing, not knowing who's going to be in the lineup, who's going to be available, this, that, and the other thing, and you've had all these oddities with some injuries and stuff as well, has played into it, and different teams trying to work out different things. My buddy's a Saints fan, and I've had no end to fun making fun of him this year. It's been a lot of fun. Now, I will grant them credit. The Saints did beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with their GOAT man, and they didn't even have a quarterback. Taysom Hill doesn't count. He's not a quarterback. But
They got their number. I mean, the Saints
they do, and they did a great job. Like, here's the thing. I watched the game, and I was like, I'm very impressed what you did, considering you also had no quarterback and no offense to speak of, per se. But I was like, I guess it worked.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
regular season, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. I agree with that. And the other thing is that, apparently, like I said, he reached out and he mentioned to me, he goes, no. And apparently the Saints are thinking about getting Blake Bortles. And I'm like, yes, Blake Bortles. Let's go. I'm excited. For bad reasons, but I'm excited.
That's really being at a state of in need, unlike
Very much so.
unlike anything you really want to be forced to deal with.
But the thing is, of course, as you guys well know,
Harry,
I am a compassionate friend. So my response was, you should embrace the future. You're now well in the era of Saints greatness. And I'm quoting myself. I got it in front of me. Can Ryan Leaf Johnny Manziel and Jake DeLone be far behind? I hear Jay Cutler needs a few bucks. Like I said, I'm here to help. I offer solutions.
What Nate Peterman or Nate Peterson?
Nate Peterson is far too good for this franchise. Far too good for this franchise. How dare you? But yeah, I don't know, man. At that point, you're in a lot of trouble if that's where you have to go down that path. Do you guys talk about the USFL yet? No, we haven't talked about it. I've heard of it. I've been kind of peripherally paying attention to it. I got to look at it some more, but I'm like, why do we keep needing to throw back retreads that didn't work the first time? The XFL third iteration, the USFL, why? Are we sure that's what we want to do? Really? Can we get the WHA going again?
Tops needs more licenses.
I guess so, yeah. The Tracers have to wear them for 7 weeks, yeah. David G here, good evening. Any thoughts on NHL players not going to the Olympics?
Yeah.
So
Sucks.
actually, real quick, quick thoughts from everybody. I'm indifferent to it. I understand why, and I get that, but at the same time, like, I don't watch the Olympics. To be fair, I don't watch the Olympics anyway. I don't care. But even if I did, NHL players, yes or no? Like, if you're just rooting for your team, if it's all if it's all non-NHL, that's great. If it is NHL, well then that's fine. Well then I guess your team should win.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you're getting like the best of the best, that means if you're in one of the powerhouse franchises with great NHL players, then you should win. And everybody else, why are you even here? It almost takes the competition out of it. I'd almost rather be like, okay, give me the non-NHL guys, and maybe it's more competitive.
Yeah, I was supposed to be amateurs, not professionals, but any which way.
Yeah, but does anybody else have like a thought on that general premise?
I agree with Bobby.
Okay. Yeah, Yannick or Eric.
I didn't
or Bob?
even know the NHL players were in it about like before 30
They've
days
been
ago.
available for it the last couple, but in this case, they've said basically no. They're not going to do it this time.
I'm greatly disappointed about it. Some of the best hockey I've ever seen in my entire life has been on the international stage with these guys playing all out 100% with another all-star or another future Hall of Famer to their left or right. The wide open ice, there's no fighting. It's the rinks are bigger.
I like the rinks bigger.
It is just amazing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Will we field a team then? Or is it just like there's no American representation whatsoever? Will they use amateurs?
So I think you've got two different arguments here. There would be no NHL guys. They could theoretically field a team. I know there's folks talking about certain boycotts. I haven't paid too close attention, to be honest.
I think they're out, aren't they? Didn't they just announce it?
Yeah, well, I know for sure the NHL guys are not going.
No.
I don't know if they're sending a team. Because
I
they
don't think
could
so.
field a team if they wanted to of amateurs. They could
I think
certainly do that.
With Corona and stuff, I don't think they're going to do it. So.
Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't want to try. I wouldn't want to chance it at this point. Like, you're going to go to China specifically right now.
What happened 2.5 years ago with the, there you go.
Yeah, like,
Right.
is this really the game you want to play right now specifically? Like, maybe not here. Maybe not if you were doing it somewhere else. Maybe
Train
with
your
it.
entire life to get to the Olympics, and if someone gives you a call and says, okay, the pros aren't going, we want you to represent your country and go do this, you're going to jump. There's not too many people who are going to say, no, I'm worried about COVID. They're going to be like, you want me to put on my country sweater and go represent, our nation? Sign me up. And,
Rivera already had COVID at some point.
That's a patriotic look of it, and I understand that. But the way the world is right now with things going on, I can understand.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
Yeah, I think it'd be an individual and by individual basis. Let's put it this way. I'm confident that if they want to put together a team, they could get one.
Oh, easy.
Like, if they want to send a team, they can find enough people who are capable of going there and playing. Like, they can. I
Is
just
Yager
don't know.
playing in it?
Sorry?
Is Yager playing?
Is Yager playing?
he's eligible.
I guess he could, couldn't he? He's not in the NHL, so he
Say we're going to be
could've.
looking for people, so maybe
Yager wins the gold? Yeah.
He probably could still play.
He's still playing professionally in the Czech Republic, so he's still doing it for a professional
He's
team.
still in
over
shape.
there.
He still plays every day.
Yeah, so it's like, at least he's able to play for sure. I don't know if he'd want to, but he can.
We'll get Brodur out of retirement. And
Oh, goodness.
What if
oh
a
my.
bunch of retired NHL guys came out and just were like, we're not representing the country. And
Old timer Olympics, yes.
I mean, that's like a made for movie right there. Like, Disney movie right there.
Yeah, like the Mighty Ducks. And
If you were to make that movie, I would secretly hope that you wouldn't find enough people to fill in the rosters, and then you had to grab other sports. Jake Delhomme, why are you playing for Team USA? Look, you gotta go. You gotta go. It's like, can you skate? No, you're playing goalie. All right.
While you're goalie.
Yeah, it's like you can't skate. You're going in goal. Good evening, Frank. Absolutely. Merry Christmas. Saints have no QB and no receivers. Yeah, that's right, Robert. Bucks were down top 4 receivers and top running backs. The Saints were down. The Saints didn't have a quarterback. Like, I understand J.D. Obama's point. The Saints had no quarterback. They had no offense. The only thing they had was defense. The only thing they had was a defense.
The fact that Tom Brady couldn't get his team in at least to a field goal position is amazing to me.
First since 2006, I think they said he was shut out.
I think it might have been thereabout. Might have been a little earlier even. Here's the thing. The Saints did. We always joke. I make endless jokes about the Tom Brady thing because it's fun for me. But the reality is, it's not like nobody knows the formula. But not most teams can't execute it. Most teams don't have the personnel. They don't have the scheming. They don't have the coaching. Hit the guy and make him uncomfortable. Easier said than done. Historically, it has been easier said than done. But that's all you got to do. Hit him and make him uncomfortable. He won't be able to find what the receiver he's looking for. If you don't allow him to do what he wants to do, he becomes very mortal very quickly. Well, that leads to Tom Brady throwing an iPad, or one of those tablets to the side because he's frustrated because he can't get anything going, because that's how it happens. Missing the top 4 receivers, they still had more talent than the Saints did on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Gronk. You can't hit Gronk 3 times in a row just to get in a field goal position.
Yeah, my statement would be, I agree with everything J.J. Bama said. I agree 100% with what he said. He's not wrong. I still think the Bucs offense is better than the Saints offense. Mm-hmm. And the Saints still won that game.
Yeah, they won 6-0.
I think it was 9-0. Wasn't it 9?
Oh, something horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. That's
yeah. So it's like the Buccaneers had a depleted offense. The Saints had 0 offense, like nothing that could resemble an offense. And they were able to win basically just on the strength of the defense.
And the greatest catching tight end of all time.
Yeah.
You could get in the field goal position with that.
You should be able to. I would think so. If you're the GOAT, such things.
Carlos, you think maybe Tom Brady heard you last week when you talking
when
to
I
Brady?
outlined how he's a lie?
He's a
fraud. It's all
and
not true.
It caused the mental breakdown?
Maybe.
You'll know when the next episode comes in, the man in the arena, and he does his whole shtick about all his critics, and he's like, these critics are wrong. Well, except Carlos, he's kind of right. But these rest of these critics are wrong. It's like PWCC. He sneaks it in. He goes, except Carlos, he's kind of right. But the rest of you are all wrong. I'm proving you wrong.
There you go.
Carlos, guys, got my number.
Like, he just knows. It's like he knows. How does he know? I know.
He knows.
Bucks kicker makes a 40-ish yard. I don't think that was the key piece, but I agree with you, Robert. You are correct.
What? Where is this in his career, Joe Mullen?
Joe Mullen?
Where is this? 88?
That would be 86. That's 86, 87. Yeah, that's the WA rookie.
That's right.
I don't remember. I know.
Oh, geez. Never mind.
The stat should be on the back, Bob. Where is it?
It's the year after.
How many games has he played at this stage?
I didn't realize he was around that long. That's like a 10 yard.
Yeah, another team had an offense.
Boston Bruin, Joe Mullen.
That's fair. Yep, that's fair.
He had a cup of coffee.
Oh, here we go. I put it on here. I didn't read it fully. I believe the current plans for AHL players and players currently playing in Europe to play in the Olympics, probably. Yeah, that's fine. AHL players are still professional. They're still good players. There's some good hockey being played there. Players in Europe, yeah, why not? Look, you'll get good competitive hockey. If that's what you're grabbing from, that's still a good pool. That's still some good players.
I can't believe that the AHL, which is obviously affiliated with the NHL, would allow them to go either. But I mean, I don't know.
This past history, you always send a minor league team over. Through the course of history, you can look at all the teams that went in the 50s and 40s and 30s. Amateur teams who won leagues or won the championship.
Yeah, I mean, that's for America, 1980 is like the most historic moment going, and that was those were all amateurs that beat the Russians, right? And won the gold.
I think, to be honest, look, if you're going to do the Olympic thing, I would kind of prefer that. If you legitimately bring a team, have a team win their league, whatever that is, and then send that team But right now you're grabbing individuals. Theoretically, you have access to the best of the best, but you're just kind of throwing them, smushing them together and making a team out of it. As opposed to like, why don't you get a team that actually won something in whatever league they're in and send that team as a unit. You guys go do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's fair, and then let
Yeah.
everybody else do their own similar thing, and then you're all on level playing field, whatever team you can compile.
But again, in the AHL, say in Providence here for the Bruins, more than half the team is full of Canadians. So you can't
Raise on polka dot door, Eric. Raise on polka dot door.
Yeah.
They all know about the pokeroo.
Get it?
No, yeah, they do. We have no idea what that nonsense.
What do you think is the source of their power, Eric? You got to learn. You got to learn the secrets.
So
Canadians.
So
Marcel could tell you about the pokeroo, Eric. Marcel could.
in French.
And he's Canadian.
That's right.
He's not Canadian. He's French Canadian. That's different.
Oh,
I agree with that. I agree with that point. That may be the best point Eric has ever made.
Yeah.
That may be the most factual statement he has ever uttered
That's
on this
totally
or any
different.
other platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say it to you.
I'm half French Canadian.
My wife. That's good. That's her whole background, both sides of the family.
What's that?
French Canadian. That's
Oh.
why I despise them so much.
Wow. Okay. I'd psychoanalyze this, but I'm genuinely not interested in unless it was for mocking purposes. For mocking purposes, I'm interested. But
Yeah.
So, Mr. Bob, what I'll do is
Yes.
this: you popped on. Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining us. Do you have any thoughts or anything you want to discuss? Because I know you're sorting through random crap in your office. So
Yeah,
just wanted to bring you
I
into
was
the conversation.
I'm inspired to do like a year-end video. So there's been a lot of rewatching old videos.
Bob, could I suggest an edit for your year-end video?
Yeah,
If
sure.
you're doing a year-end video, you want to encapsulate the best moments of your year on YouTube in this case. And you're a YouTube Sports Card Hall of Famer. So I've got the supercut already in my mind. I can envision it. I can see it in my mind. It'll be
You want to storyboard this with me?
I'm gonna give it to you right now. It's going to be 10 glorious minutes of basically write this down. This is important. It's gonna be 10 glorious minutes. You can get whatever soundtrack you want. It's
Yeah,
gonna be 10 glorious minutes of basically this.
Good night, all.
10 minutes. You put whatever soundtrack you want on. That covers all your greatest hits, your best
that's just
moments, your best
between-
clips.
That's just between the time I say my first name and last name. You know?
But Bob, truthfully, you could basically just clip what I just took there and just loop it for 10 minutes, and there's your video. That is the highlight of your YouTube year. Done.
I have
Bob,
to Photoshop a card in there somewhere.
I'm sure that happened theoretically.
Yeah.
Green chair.
So kind of doing that, I got little stacks, little things I want to chit chat about. Again, all this is just talk until it actually gets put out there. So,
Well,
but nonetheless, it's been a fun exercise to kind of take it all in, sort of the highlights from the year and piece it out. Some things you didn't, really guess right on at the beginning of the year. You took, I picked up a Yelich rookie and Gleyber Torres rookie. Not saying that those are just like, those deals are not going to turn out to be anything, but still think they're young players that have talent. So,
Bob,
but
could you
some
make
of
your
the PSA stuff.
Bob, could you
Go
make
ahead,
your
sorry.
year-end video a video
Yeah.
where you just discuss video ideas you had but didn't actually make the video?
Oh,
And literally just make
That would have-
your year
that would be
end.
like a
It goes,
3-part
guys, you
series."
guys, I had this idea, and literally it's just you describing all the
That's
videos
actually a
you
pretty
thought
funny
about
idea.
making and
Bob,
didn't
I-
actually make.
I can see it here, and it's fabulous.
And you can have
It is.
Spielberg
Oh my god.
if you want.
yeah.
I feel like
Still
your best
probably-
video would be just to describe the videos you would have made and didn't actually do.
In detail.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the video.
They are there, but we'll see.
There you go. I like it.
But yeah, I just gotta wrap. I gotta wrap a bunch of presents, and that'll be the rest of my night. So I'm happy to hang out for a little bit, anyways.
Okay, Santa Bob.
Yeah. No, absolutely, Bob. I do appreciate you popping in. We'll definitely find some time either later or in the new year. We'll definitely find some
Yeah,
time
man.
to pop in and hang out. But do
Yeah,
check.
do a long show.
Keep your eye out, Bob, for your cameo in the year-end one before the last live stream of the year.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I have something special for you, Bob. Keep your eye open. It's there.
Okay.
I want you to dread it for a little while leading into it.
No, I mean it's. I'm
It's-
curious because you have it could go a number of ways.
It could. I think. Let's put it this way. It is 100% appropriate. 100% appropriate.
I'll watch it with my kids and wife and say, look.
That won't be a problem. You'll be fine. There are other people that I take actual pot shots at. Yours
I
is
know
perfectly tuned.
something that you teased that you did a best of. That hasn't happened yet, right? You haven't released that, have you?
What are you referring to?
Yeah, I think it's in the works, brother.
Just a clip show of your live stream and maybe.
Bob, that's part 3 of my year end. That's
Okay.
the one that I've got clips from the live stream in that one.
All right,
Yep, it's coming.
I'm looking forward to that.
It's already recorded, downloaded, uploaded, and currently sitting on YouTube as we speak.
Like this show and Dave's show are really. So my content production being whatever it is, this still allows me to just sort of feel like I'm up to date on everything. So I don't have time to do all the digging. So I appreciate Carlos putting together what he does for breaking news or whatever, and then just the complete social aspect and stuff of all the chatter. And Instagram really has been a nice little outlet too that you can still show and be acknowledged by your peers and get that whatever. But I do like making videos. I'd like to do more of that. I think the baby stuff. She's practically dressing herself now. So.
Or maybe you can get the baby to edit the videos for you.
Right.
Like may as well start getting the kids in on it. Like, could you edit
Yeah.
this?
I bought software to edit videos 6 months ago, so I'm actually by my timetable of how I do things. I'm getting close to being ready to invest and explore it a little bit.
Nice. I like it.
Sweatshop, right on.
Look, if not for cheap labor, what's the point of him having that many kids?
That's right.
1 or 2 might be legit, but beyond that, honestly, cheap labor is really the only excuse he has.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fair.
As they get older or hit different brackets, it's definitely my joy to just look for more things. You're 11 now. Oh, you can take the garbage cans from the side of the house to the curb. Of course you can.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always looking for ways to and now I'm getting sore because I'm doing less.
Sorry, because you're doing less. Very
Yeah,
good.
that's
Very
a
good.
true statement. Well,
Fair. Great. But yeah, no, we appreciate it, Bob. As always, it's been a lot of fun to have. That's why I wanted to make sure I invited you guys. I wanted to make sure you came on because between this and next week's episode, it's the end of the year. We're just hanging out. We're chilling. I'm getting people an excuse to get away from their families.
Next year or next week, probably. If you're putting the link out again,
I will.
Next week could be a fun one for sure.
Yeah, I think next week will be a little fun because I'll just be doing it at the regular spot, and I'll be like, all right, y'all, I'm here. I got a full refrigerator. Let's go.
Oh no.
Let's go. Yeah, we'll have some fun with it for sure. But thank you, Bob, as always. All right, so what I'll say is this. Any last stuff from any of you on anything you want to touch on? I'll quickly grab Josh's comment, and then we'll finalize this thing. When I watch the Olympics, I want to see the best on best. Can't imagine watching basketball with other pros. Totally fair. I get it. I want to thank everybody on the panel. I want to thank all the folks in the chat because it's been fun. We're not quite done. I put it on the bottom. The next live stream will be on New Year's Eve. We'll be doing it. I'll start 2.5 hours in the East Coast from the ball dropping, so to speak. And then I'm going past it because, we're going to 2022. We're doing it. I got the refrigerator fully stocked. One of my gifts was a case of beer. I'm good. Wow. Let's go. It's like the kids say, let's go. All right, gentlemen, anything you want to say? Any of you? Mr. Bobby Burrell.
Have a good night. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Mr. Yannick.
Joyeux Noël.
Nice.
Wow.
Mr. Eric, in any language you wish. English, English, or English.
I just hope everyone has a wonderful day tomorrow with their families.
Love it. Love it. Mr. Archer. Regale us with your words.
First for Bob for his video of all the video ideas he didn't do. Have Stove narrate it.
Ooh. Ooh, I like that collab idea.
That is clutch.
Just write it down and let him, whatever he's gonna do, let him do it.
Shamelessly plug your podcast too, Dave. You may as well. Do it.
Remember, everybody, Tuesday night, the Instant Revolution podcast on the YouTube name, the same YouTube channel, the same name, 7:05 p.m. ish Central Standard Time.
How do you nickname it?
Things and stuff and things. And,
Well played. Well played.
everybody have a good day tomorrow with your family. Take pictures. Again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. The one serious thing I say: hug the people you love that are close to you. Tell them you love them. You just don't know when they're going to be gone. You don't know when those opportunities won't be there.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Mr. Lewis, you get second last word. Say the words. What do you got?
How am I supposed to follow that?
You could say stuffing things. Bye. Click. You could have a dramatic exit. You could do that on your own.
Right.
Just say ditto.
Family. Have to try to have some fun. You know,
Thank you, Rick.
we're good.
That was beautiful. That was profound. Those were profound words, Bob. Between you and Dave, I had all the feels. Like, I haven't been this emotional all night. Okay. So all of you guys in the chat and everybody here, thank you very much. It's been a fun year. We got the one more live stream. I got a couple more videos coming up. By the morning, Christmas morning, if you're bored, I got the pickup video. Then I got part 2 and part 3 of the year in review. Part 3 is where I have a little bit of fun. I'll show some clips of some streams. I don't overkill it on the clips. Yannick's already seen one of the clips. I do have a little bit of fun with some of the stuff. Next year, I'm hoping as we go along, I'll try to jot down some of the things as they happen. It's too much stuff. If you will see in that video the full runtime of this entire channel for 2021. The truth may horrify you. It horrified me, and I was involved. But I do want to wish you all a fantastic Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate, it doesn't matter. We'll have a Happy New Year soon, but I want to wish that to you next week. So we'll get to that. 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll do it, and then we'll finish it up, and we'll start off the new year in style, and then we'll look forward to everything falling off the cliff and our Fanatics overlords not saving us, possibly. Or maybe saving us and writing big checks. You never know. Anyway, that's it for us. Thank you very much, folks. Have a great evening. We'll catch you in the next one.
Merry ho ho.